Hello and welcome everyone to GPVWC's coverage of the Super League event here at the Silverstone British Grand Prix here on a beautiful single day of summer, as myself and cameraman extraordinaire Quintin Plain are quite quietly discovering. It's an El Scorcho here, and we're pleasure to have you with us here this evening. We have the halfway point in this championship. It's 17 rounds. This is round 8, and we're approaching the halfway mark where the championship has kind of started to divide or design itself into the key players, the key movers, and the key shakers. And my name is Simon Smith, and along with those movers and shakers, we will be analysing this Grand Prix as it unfolds. And alongside me to do that, as always, is Mr. Thomas Hiddens. How you doing, Tom?
Hello and welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Yeah, doing well. I'm really been looking forward to this round. It should be very interesting to see. I've looked at the development, and interesting to see on the development bar that we have here on the application, which tells us the development. Apparently, VODball are that well developed, they're off the screen. So, yeah, but they are still the most developed car at this point, and Green Stripes are still a ways behind. And everyone else is kind of there or thereabouts in the middle. But I do think it's going to be interesting because, again, CSG once again showing some good pace here once more. And, Torrent up there, Red Archer again. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they go during the race with the pace there as opposed to qualifying.
Definitely. We have one or two new people popping onto the grid this evening. The main one really being Mike Bell, making his debut for Adonis Engineering. If he can get the car off and out onto the track, he's yet to do so. He didn't actually set a line in time in qualifying. We're also missing the Target racing team as well. They don't seem to have fielded a driver here this evening, so the season continues to have stops and starts throughout. On the championship itself, we are, as I said, on the halfway mark, and our main championship protagonists are Lewis Redshaw and David Fidek are on 114 points apiece, equal pegging, would you believe, at the halfway point. Lewis Redshaw has 3 wins to David Fidek's 1. So that has placed Lewis ahead for the time being. But Philip Pushka is right behind with 107 points. And he's, of course, missed the Monaco Grand Prix due to outside worldly problems. Damn real life getting in the way. But he's sitting in 3rd and he's ready to capitalise on that. Canapino's in 4th, a little bit back on 84, ahead of Alex Cooper on 75 and Fran Lopez on 71. They're your top 6. Everyone else kind of battling from Flyer and Gaia behind in 7th downwards. In the constructors, though, it's equally as close, with CSG just 10 points clear of Nordzone. Bull and Hawkeye very close proximity behind on 151, 141, 136 and 135 apiece for those, with Midnight on their own in 5th position. And as we approach the second half of the season, it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds and we start to see the pressures really mount.
Yeah, indeed. No, it's going to really start to come down to who's been the consistent man of the championship. And I must say, at this point, it's looking really like the man to beat once again in terms of consistency is Mr. Consistency himself. David Fidek has been just, as you said, I mean, look at the tallies. He's got, compared to Redshaw, nowhere near as many wins, but there he is in the championship ahead of him, thanks to just how consistent he is. He just, whenever he's not winning, he's always there. And once again, he's showing good potential here. I believe qualified 2nd or 3rd. So again, there he is once more. There or thereabouts. When he's not leading, he's very, very close behind, and that's really biting well for his championship hopes. But yeah, I'm interested to see how things develop for some of the others down the field. With some of the lower guys, maybe they'll get some good points depending on car development and what tracks sort of they're stronger at and what incidents occur. So yeah, I'm going to be watching carefully to see if any of the guys down the back can maybe, put a bit of a surprise and mix it up with some of the guys up front and just a bit of a surprise package later in the season.
Definitely. The last 2 rounds specifically have had quite a high level of attrition, and that's really sorted out some of the men from the boys towards the back end of the field. We've seen Nijo grab a haul of points in the last few races, and in doing so has hauled themselves into 10th in the constructors, just ahead of Woods. Phoenix are up to 12th with 9 points, having been right at the very bottom. Green Stripes have leapfrogged them too, and that's kind of plopped Kernow, who had a couple of points scored in Monaco, but it's left them very much at the bottom of the table, just 1 point behind Green Stripes. So it's all to play for with this whole potential for relegation that the last team have, and it really is just hot down there as it is right at the top of the field. And around a circuit like this at Silverstone, it's a real drivers throw it in and give it a go circuit. It's going to be where having at one ship with driver and car is going to really help.
Yeah, indeed. No, and it'll really. I think it's really going to be interesting to see how the development goes. Because I reckon I did notice a few cars in the qualifying. A lot of them were doubling up. Yeah, I think Nijo were alongside each other on the grid. I believe the Red Archers were alongside each other. And I think there was one more team, Torrance. They were next to each other as well. So a few of the teams starting to have the sort of very similar pace, which is interesting because the one thing that we've had this season so far is a bit of a disparity in paces between cars. But it seems like here there are a few of them that were actually quite similarly paced. So that was interesting to see. So that's kind of a bit of a new thing for us because we're a bit used to one car being at the front, the other one being at the back. So it's a bit of a new thing. But yeah, no, I'm really interested. I'm probably actually going to be watching this race. Just looking at qualifying results was Red Archer. They were, I believe, both in the top 5 or 6. And they're looking very, very promising. So I'm going to be watching them because they're looking like they might be a team to watch in the sort of latter half of the season as their cars really come along quite well.
Mr. Hinds with Development Corner, making sure that you're all kept up to date. Of course, this is the big thing with GPVWC. If you're new to the league, thank you for coming and joining us. One of the big things with the Super League, the top tier of our career ladder, is that there is a management function involved that involves developing the car itself, bringing you as close to the confines of something like Formula 1 as you can from a sim racing league itself. And that development spearhead, for want of a better word, is one of the real cruxes to making sure that you have a team that is on point and at the top end of the field and not at the blunt end of it. Interestingly, in this warm-up, we have got a slightly damp warm-up sessions. Times are about 5 seconds a lap slower. A couple of things on the social media front. You can get in touch with us on Twitter by using the hashtag GPVWC Live or just @ing us at GPVWC Live. We're taking your comments and suggestions and thoughts and feelings throughout the race. Thank you to Alexander van der Wild, who has, as always, been first in the bud. There are 2 topics here this evening. The 2 of them I'm interested in getting your knowledge on. Firstly, do you feel that the new Silverstone layout has added or taken away from the old one? Like, do you miss bridge, or do you quite like that turn 1, 2, 3 complex? Or ask Mr. Hinds in a smidgy moo. The second one is, if GPVWC was a movie, what would you call its strapline? And Alexander van der Waal has already tweeted in to say the Fast and Furious, in brackets, not stolen much. So, what's your thoughts on a Silverstone circuit?
Well, I think personally, I actually quite like the new section. I think the new section they did has really added something to the track over the old one. The old one was good. I did like the old bridge section that used to be, of course, here at the old track. And of course, the old pit straight used to be quite nice. But I don't know, I think I like how it is. It's added something quite nice to that first sector. It's a nice, really tight first sector that wasn't there before. You know, it's a bit different. It used to be a bit more flowing, a bit faster, whereas now you've got that really quite tight first sector to really make it a bit of a variation, I think, on what it used to be. So personally, I think it's improved the racing, if anything else, from my view. Obviously, turn 1 can be a bit interesting, being a bit, being very fast and a bit tight can be a bit hard on opening laps. But yeah, I think it's definitely added. And the second question, I'm still thinking of an answer for. You know what? I'll try and think of one before the end of the broadcast, and I'll add my bit to that to the strapline.
There be your challenge, Mr. Hinds. There be your challenge. And actually, I have to say, of most of the designs for F1 lately, or F1-based tracks, have neutered and detesticalized a lot of the circuits. However, with this one, I have to say that I could take either or. I think both layouts are perfectly fine. And I certainly enjoyed the Formula Challenge race where I was involved in on Tuesday. One thing that I was kind of looking forward to, I remember on the old design of Silverstone and starting further back on the grid, you could never see the start line because I was like, oh look, we're going round the last bend as to what it was at that time, only for me to qualify 33rd anyway and still be starting on the last corner regardless. So I was like, oh, it's just the same regardless of where you are. But what I think we found in Formula Challenge and again in Super Cup last night was that this race really has lent itself well to nice, clean, good racing, and that's something that we didn't quite get at Canada as a result of the numerous amount of penalties that you'll be able to see on the GPVWC page. We won't go into them because we've only got a minute, and it's been a real pleasure to see sim racing showing its best foot forward with some of the fantastic racing that we've seen across the week so far.
Yeah, no, indeed. I've obviously been race directoring for both Formula Challenge and Super Cup. So I was here to see both of them, and yeah, they were very, very clean. Aside from, I believe, race 2 of Formula Challenge got a little bit messy at one point, but aside from that, it was generally all round, it was very clean racing. I was quite impressed. So it's good to see, and it really does bode well that hopefully we'll have a bit of a cleaner round here, because yeah, last round we shall not mention in detail again, and we generally try to forget that round. But yeah, if we can hopefully come back to the sort of standard we used to with Super League, then that'd be really good. And I think Silverstone's the place where we'll sort of make it happen. So.
Yeah, I put it into the same context as Spa, where you're at speed, but you're at speed in corners, and there's maneuverability to make these things happen. So we shall see. But we will be taking the big boys out on track in the next couple of minutes. No, that's not my love life. That is actually GPVWC itself. And best of luck to Mike Bell, who is the sole person making his debut. We was expecting a second person making a debut this evening, but he is it. And still no target, so interesting to see where the land lies with the target team going forward. They've had a decent start to the first half of the season. They're 7th in the Constructors. However, in the last 3 races, they've had 4 retirements from 6 starts, which is not grand. They got a podium in Monaco, which is fantastic, and their best finish ever as a team. So, non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
All right.
And is it wet or dry? Let's see.
Looks dry.
Dry to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going out in dry tyres, so it better be.
You'd hope so. Alright.
The 52 laps then of high octane action around the Silverstone circuit. Tyres will be a small issue, not a huge issue around here. And of course, the pit lane, you missed the final couple of corners. Yes, the start-finish line, the pit limit line comes quite early, but actually the amount of time that you spend in the pits is relatively small compared to other circuits. As we go around then on the formation lap, and it is Monsieur Consistancier himself, David Fidek, leading the field round for Hawkeye, ahead of Augustin Canapino in the front row for Nordstone Racing, looking for connectivity to work for him. Then the 2 Red Archers doing their best team effort for 2015 so far, and for a very long time. Fran Lopez just leading out Davidas Missilis, and I think that's Missilis' highest grid slot ever. Lewis Redshaw 5th for CSG, ahead of Alex Cooper 6th for the Top Midnight Motorsport. Windigas Columbus 7th for Torrent Motorsports, out-qualifying Jordan Weeks in 8th for Torrent Motorsports. Let's see who attacks poor Jordan this week, poor guy. No hope for his Florian Guy for Nordzone. Shouldn't say that, really. Commentators curse. Then 10th, rounding out the top 10, Tom van der Voort for Midnight Motorsports. 11th is Philip Pushka for Vod Bull. Down the order there, the man that wants to be climbing up it very quickly for his championship aspirations. Tom Parker is 12th for CSG, and rounding out the top half of the field is Dowie Tapper, back in the VOD Ball, in 13th.
And then in 14th, it is. It's Menoclont. Belag Menoclont for Woods is 15th, and it's Bart DeVos in 16th. A good qualifying from him. Though penalties probably helped that out as well. Ari Newman and Kenny Lybeer fill out a all Nijo row there in 17th and 18th. And it's Kieran Ryan for Phoenix in 19th. And it's 2 Green Stripes, another double up in 20th and 21st of Ben Horrell and DeWalt Nell. Miko Yakinen is 22nd in the 2nd Phoenix. 2nd Kernov of Mark Wicks, Wixie in 23rd. Mike Bell, the debutant for Adonis in 24th. And Nick Rowland in the 2nd Hawkeye is 25th. And rounding out your field is good old Royce Roden for Woods in 26th.
26 runners and riders as they make their way round. All of them starting on the option tyre as well, so no rogue strategists, if that is even a word.
Now.
It is now.
Right up.
So, as they pull up onto the grid, any daredevil thoughts?
Well, I guess seeing how Philip Pushka does, because I believe the reason why he went down could have been a penalty, because I swear he qualified in first place. So I believe it's a penalty is why he's in 11th. So I'm interested to see how far he comes up the field, and just seeing how the Green Stripes go, if they have a bit better race pace, and same with Nijo being just outside the points, seeing if they can convert that to points in the race.
There we go then, the last couple of drivers get themselves into the grid. So, halfway part in the season, this is where you lay down your chips for the rest of 2015. GPVWC Super League at Britain is Off and away. Viaduct bogs down slightly on the get-a-go. Someone's there really going behind. Devinus Missilis has got a cracking start, and they both Red Archers have gone round Redshaw and Co. in the CSG. Nordstone's Canapino down to 5th as they go round turns 1 and 2. It's 3 where the big stop happens. Are they all going to make it? There's contact between people up front. Someone's run wide. Oh, it was Fran Lopez. He's dropped back behind Canapino again. There's shuffling going on and a little bit of nudging, but everyone's made it round okay. Yakinin losing out quite a big deal and is down to second last as they come out. No one's Alonso'd it to a match, or have they? No, they have! Someone's off!
Too soon. Yeah.
Oh, dear. That's a Phoenix, isn't it? It's Kieran... Oh, it's both Phoenixes! Yakinin and Ryan! A complete Phoenix meltdown. They'll have to come out from the ashes on that one, but Kieran Ryan's missing a wheel from the rear. Is Phoenix wiped out entirely off the start line? What a terrible shame for them. But up front, it's Viaduct that leads the way from Redshaw, who's up to second. How has he got round all of that while all that was going on? No idea. Missilis down to third then. Then it's Canapino just ahead of Lopez. They're going side by side in 4th and 5th positions. So it's Cooper, Vandervoort, Columbus, Weeks and Gaia rounding out your top 10. So Gaia's gone right down. Vandervoort's gone up 4 places off the line. That's really worked out for him as they come down, and that's Canapino versus Fran Lopez for 4 and 5. Canapino closes the door. Fran Lopez keeps it open. He's nudging through. That's a little bit rough and ready. But Fran Lopez comes up into 4th position and Canapino back down to 5th where he ended the end of turn 1. And everyone else is filing through. And we have lost Mikko Yakinin. He's pulled out, and Kieran Ryan, I think, is limping to the pits for new front and rear rings.
Indeed, no, that was literally was a carbon copy of the incident in last season's Formula One. He had this exact race. I saw someone go off. I'm not sure who it was, but I saw someone go wide, and I thought, oh no, we are going to have a replay of the exact one that happened in real life. So a real big shame in the early stages here. It's a big one for Phoenix. They're going to have a lot of recovery as Kieran Ryan's trying to recover, but he really will have to be careful as the top field comes around because he's without a rear wheel. So he's trying to limp it round, but he's just come up to the rhythm section now. So I really hope for everyone's sake that he doesn't get in their way because he could be in a bit of a spot of bother if he does. Oh, he's spinning around. Oh, I really hope that he doesn't cause any kind of a debacle. But either way, it is still David Viaduct leading at the moment, so this is good for his championship hopes. Redshaw in second, but Missilis is right behind. And look at that, he's looking very fast in the Red Archer. So Red Archer showing extremely good pace in these early stages of the race. They were looking good in qualifying, and they look like they are converting that into race pace, as I'm just going to see. Is that through all right? Yep, looks like Kieran Ryan has managed to get off the track. He's just going down the back straight now. Hopefully he won't have any kind of an incident and get in their way. Looks like he's got out of the way nicely, so good stuff there. But yeah, look at this. Look at this. He's having to go defensive here. Lewis Redshaw into the right-hander here, and Missilis around the outside. Surely not. Will he do it? Oh, Redshaw's going to have to leave the room. Mark, he's done it. Beautiful move around the outside from Missilis. Just casual as you like. Absolutely. That is really absolutely fantastic. Textbook around the outside manoeuvre. And I tell you what, these Red Archers are looking mighty impressive.
They are indeed. Gaia's round. He's down to 16th position, 17th. He's reversing himself out of the way. Both Phoenixes then have retired from the race. Gaia's got back go again, but he is last position, unfortunately, as Horan and Bell go through. Other big movers and shakers were Nick Rowland's gone up to 18th position in the other Hawkeye from the very back of the grid, and someone else has just swapped positions. That was Tom Parker passing Dowie Tapper for 11th and 12th places down at turn 3. Oh. But that was beautiful there as Lopez comes on Redshaw. Is that going to be the second one? Oh, Redshaw's got out wide, and Canapino will fancy a nose up the inside too. Oh, there's contact between the two. It's one of those places where the racing line and the overtake line kind of hits in the middle, and Redshaw are able to just about cling on there. But both Red Archers into second and third position. I've not seen Red Archer be this strong for a very long time.
Indeed, no, they're looking mighty impressive right now. But look at that interesting David Viaduct, 1.7 seconds. Whilst this has all been going on, he's been slowly eking out that gap in the Hawkeye Racing car. And I'll tell you what, he's not looking a bit better than Mr. Consistency right now. He's consistent, but in the lead, unlike usually. He'd be sort of in about second or third at this point. So a little bit different here from Viaduct. This is good for his championship hopes, but a bit of a train, as you can see, all behind sort of Redshaw. He's kind of corking them up at this point. Sort of the cork in the bottle. He's got now Canapino on the back of him. So Redshaw seeming to struggle a bit in these early stages with that CSG car, and it's Simcraft behind him, followed by the two Torrents. So the Simcrafts and the Torrents are in line astern there in 6th, 7th, and 8th and 9th. And then it's Philip Pushka's only made his way up one position. So Pushka not really making up the gains I was expecting here in these early stages of the race. Parker 11th, and it's Tapper, Clont for Woods, then DeVos, who's got Kenny Lybeal all over the back of him, and Riffle as well. They're all fighting at the moment over 14th. As wonder if Lybeal will have a look. Oh, he has a look down to turn one. Oh, but backs out of it. Yeah, good move. He saw that one coming. But that's going to open the door now for Riffle is all over the back of him. He'll have a look down here. Oh, yeah, a little bit of contact, I thought. Yeah, a little bit aggressive there. That's okay. They got through all right. Oh, no. They nearly didn't they? They're all sort of having a look at each other, but in the end, Livy actually comes back out on top. So there's a big old fight, isn't it, at the end of the points going on right there?
All that's happened, though, is allowed for the Schroten, Roland, Neiman and Nell battle to all climb onto the back as Riffle has another go. Riffle's already made a few decisive moves in lower formulae, which has made him slightly unpopular. However, Kenny Lybeer was able to basically give the muscles back through and repass Riffle. So if you're going to give muscles, you've got to take muscles. As Pushka goes past Weeks at Cops for 9th and 10th positions. Oh, and they've hit each other on the way into Maggots and Beckett's. Pushka there manages to keep going. That's exactly a carbon copy to what happened to me in Formula Challenge, and I went flying off into the stadium wall. So that wasn't great at all. Although I did get air miles, so there was some love going on there. And someone's off the track. It's Ben Horrell, who's spun off and has dropped to last in 20.
Indeed, yeah, sorry, I was just looking at the battle again for third. It's heated up, so Redshaw just had another look there at the move on Lopez there, but he didn't make it stick into Stowe, so he's managed to stay behind. So he stays line astern, but again, look at this. This is all bottling them up big time right now. There's a big old train all the way down to even 9th, 10th there. So they're all sort of bottled up, even back probably to Tapper, although he has dropped a bit back. And then it's actually Menno Conte's kind of on his own in 13th now. He's got a gap behind and a gap in front. So he's having a little bit of a little chill there in that 13th spot. But yeah, all very interesting here at the front is they're all sort of bottling up, and this is helping fighting massively. 3.2 seconds clear. He's just flying away, pulling a move that Redshaw's really done this season when he's been so dominant. He just gets that lead early and then just controls the race. And at the moment, it's looking like Fidek might take that sort of spot here of doing that at this round because he's looking very strong on that Hawkeye. And as they continue to battle away, Mistel is having an impressive start here. Same with Lopez, as he said. Red Archer, I mean, this is dizzy heights for them really because they've never, in terms of a team, they've not really been this high for a long time. But hopefully, their sake, they can continue to show this form throughout the races. As we know, it's a very long race and there's plenty of time for things to occur.
Well, Philip Pushka got past Mindegaus Columbus for 8th and 9th positions at the start of this lap. What we've got to watch was I just spotted him running wide at the Wonder of Cops. And we are testing something which is a new tracking, cutting tool. Excuse me for the hiccups there. Too much cider just before going live. But we're testing a new cutting tool essentially as who is that changing position? Tapper gets past Parker for 11th and 12th down at Stowe. And what it does is it highlights exactly when you're running wide and the apex of that, and then we can judge whether or not people are gaining or losing time. And Cops has always traditionally been one of those corners where running wide and being just generally a little bit rubbish around there on purpose is actually a good thing sometimes. And so people have been heavily warned in advance to not be doing that. So each time we spot people going wide, I'm thinking in my head and kind of notching it up, thinking that's 1. That's 2. And you've got to make sure that you don't do it so much as here comes Redshaw and Lopez for 3rd and 4th. This, in the new part of the Silverstone circuit, certainly paves way for overtaking. Lopez really skidding around the second half of turn 4 there. Just about manages to keep it all together as we go around Woodcote. But what that has done is allowed Canapino and Cooper to kind of pull onto the back, and Vandervoort's not too far behind. Redshaw pulls out. It's very brave if you're going to do a move side by side in Cops. It can happen. Missilis there running wide that time round, and what that has done, because you've had to lift off a bit to show you've not gained, is pull him right into Lopez's path. And Canapino, completely different line. No, it looks just went for a bit of a wider line there, whereas Redshaw was just kind of trying to get the exit there. So a bit of an interesting almost collision of lines there. But there's a big old train right there. It goes all the way back to Pushka in 8th, who is starting to make good progress, by the way. So after those initial couple of laps, he didn't really make a lot of progress on the first lap, but he's starting to find his form now, and we know he's fast. He did qualify on pole without the penalty, and he was, I think, a couple of tenths up on the next guy, so he's got a lot of pace in that. Bobbles, Campaign's off. He's off the final corner, and that's dropped him down to 9th, 10th. He'll probably even drop back behind maybe Tapper and Parker. Not quite, but there you go. So Canapino drops to 10th. I'll just have a look what happened here. Oh, too much curb. Yeah, he's done exactly what a couple of them did it. I noticed both in Formula Challenge. Oh no, small contact, he's round again. Parker's pushed him round, and well, that was a love nudge from the pair of them. Canapino round to 12th place. What does a guy need to do to get a break? That's really not helped out for Canapino. But that was all started with his own problem that he created, as you spotted there, Tom, where he took too much curb on the final turn. Easily done, But what you do is, instead of trying to keep steering into it, which is what Canapino done, and he may have already been out of control by that point, is you stop steering and you run out wide, and it saves you a little bit. But it just didn't work for him. Right behind him, actually, is Clont, and then behind is Libeer, DeVos, Riffle, Roland, Schroten, and Gaia, all in a massive scrabble for 14th to 19th. And they're just as entertaining as the leading lot.
Indeed, no, they're having a really, really nice battle there in that sort of back end of the points. And who's that? That is
it's Pushka on
Van der Voort into Stowe. And will he make it? He looks like he might, but Van der Voort goes for the switchback. Will he maybe have a look down the inside here? No, he's probably not close enough, no. So Pushka makes that move stick. Another nice move from Pushka, and he's up now into 6th spot. So the charge of Pushka really going quite well now. It's only, 6 laps of 52, or 7 laps now of 52, and he's already up to 6th. And it's not that far up the road to, 2nd and 3rd spot, but keep an eye on that gap to the lead. 4.9 seconds now, Fidek in the lead. He is just galloping away as these guys all have a big old scuffle over 2nd spot. But again, I'm still pretty impressed at this point with Red Arch. They've got the good start, they're showing good pace, and really are showing their place in this top 3 of the race. But can they keep it for the whole race? Will tyre wear maybe be an issue? We'll soon find out.
We'll soon find out. As Dewald Nell goes off at turn 1, 19th position. He was all over the back of Ari Nieminen for 18th. And it's good to see Dewald Nell actually being able to battle with other drivers now that the Green Stripes car is really pushing some performance. That did not work for him. Through went Roland and Riffle, and he's down to 21st, unfortunately. And Roland and Riffle have already had their own contretemps at some point because they were in that battle for 14th, and now all of a sudden they're all 8 seconds off it. So clearly there's been shenanigans have been had at some point at that circuit. However, further up front with the leading lot, Fidek then leading by 5 seconds, and it's the time difference that he's gaining, which is lapping it up at the difference of about 0.8 of a second per lap now it's going, from Miselis and Lopez. Redshaw running in 4th, then it's Cooper and Pushka nose to tail. Van der Voort just clinging on, but he needs to not be in the battle to make sure that he does cling on quite nicely, and he's got a worry because Columbus and Weeks are working together in those Torrent Motorsports cars, and it's great to see Torrent there back in the top 10 showing former glory. And what they are doing is working together to not battle and reeling Van der Voort, and that's good to see a team working as a team and not against each other.
Indeed, as you can see, Pushka down in the back of Cooper now. Cooper, by the way, they're having another good solid run so far in 5th, not quite up in that sort of 3rd or 4th that he usually is, with Red Archer kind of occupying where he'd be. But here we go, look at this Pushka on the back of him already. It's only taking him about a lap to get onto him. Cooper feeling needs to go defensive there into the double left-hander, and he holds for the moment, but I'd suspect it's only a matter of time before Pushka gets past him, showing extremely good pace in that ball at the moment. What I was just going to say, I did look back at, you mentioned with Riffle and Roland, it does look like they had contact into Stowe, and they both went
Pushka will have Cooper here.
Oh, yeah, there you go, around the outside into Cox. Very nice move from Pushka there. Yeah, that's why they sort of dropped back. A little bit of contact in the Stowe, and that's why they dropped back from that battle, which I believe is still raging. Is it? Yep, still raging with Guy has actually now gotten through. He's now in 14th, with Libeer in 15th. DeVos still 16th, so having a good race there for Kernok. Still not dropped off too bad, and he's showing decent pace so far.
Yep, not bad at all, not bad at all. That move with Cooper versus Pushka, I've always found that as soon as you defend into Cops, you've compromised your line if you go in too tight, and that's what he done. And then he was like, oh damn, I'm going to have to let you go. Done it myself many a time across many a year, but it's almost instinct to take the inside line, and you're like, oh, not for this corner. But lap 10 then, we are on of 52. We've gone through 20% of this race very quickly, and it's Fidek leading by 5.6 seconds from Miselis and Lopez. In the Red Archers, Redshaw in 4th for CSG, then it's Pushka, Cooper, Van der Voort, Columbus, Weeks and Tapper, your top 10. The point scorers rounded out by Tom Parker, Augustin Canapino recovering in 12th from an earlier spin. Then it's Clont 13, Gaia 14, and Libeer rounding out the point scorers in the Nijo. However, he has got DeVos, Roy Schroten all over the back of him, a small gap back to Ari Nieminen. Then it's Nick Rowland, who's still battling nose to tail with Marcus Riffle. Dewalt Nell recovering as well in 21st. Mike Bell doing well in 22nd. He's still in touching distance of that, with Mark Wicks and Ben Horrell both off the back there in 23rd and 24th. Your 2 retirements are the Phoenix guys that took each other out or involved in a lap 1 incident. Our real life F1 2014.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I was quite surprised how that literally was pretty much an exact copy of the real life
Oh,
instance. So yeah. Oh, that's
the
what he spotted.
Torrents have just swapped round.
Ooh, hello.
And that
Oh yeah,
looked,
they have.
it
Yeah.
looked planned because that was going through the complex. What was it? Oh no, Columbus got it
No,
wrong
yeah.
into Beckett's.
Yeah. Yeah, lost the rear just in the
Ooh.
midsection. So Jordan just goes, oh, thank you, yoink, yoink. And so he's now up to 8th. So, where is he? He's not far behind either Van der Voort. As you said, it's good to see Torrent showing good pace here. They're still hanging on the back of this top 5 group. And then actually as well, Parker as well, and Tapper as well, by the way, doing all right there in 10th spot. He's hanging off the back as well. And of course, Canapino, as we said, is recovering. And it's a bit of a gap back to Menno Clont, who was obviously just getting reeled in a bit by Gaia, who's starting to show some good pace now. He's got clear of that scuffle that he was in earlier on. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see. Interesting to see Torrent showing some good pace, and Jordan's taking a bit of opportunistic move now. But yeah, they're thereabouts. If things start kicking off, they're there to benefit. As who's that? Oh no, don't worry. I thought I saw Lopez go a bit wide, but it was just me seeing things. So as Richard's still on the back end, by the way, he's been on him for boys. Lopez getting a bit of a tail happy moment there. But yeah, no, he's still on the back of him. He's been on the back of him pretty much all race long, and he just can't get back past it, would seem.
Nick Rowland retaking Mike Bell for 21st position down at turn 3. Nice good move from him. There's been something happen between himself and I'd imagine Marcus Riffle, because there's now 5 seconds between them. Rowland was ahead of Riffle. Now he is very much behind, and there's a Dewalt Nell in between them too, so clearly something happened at some point. Missilus, though, still bottling the cork for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, and they're not really stabbing too much of an argument at each other. They're quite happy to sit in this pace. I wonder if they're kind of thinking, do you know what, Viaduct's in his own race, but that's someone off into the pits already, and it's Lewis Redshaw very early on. Lap 11. Well,
yeah, that's a really early stop, isn't it? It's the option tyre, so that's, 11 laps. So you're looking at 2-3 stop even probably there. That's a interesting strategy call, and no one else
in as well.
Here. Oh, well, Cooper in as well. There you go. So maybe the 3 stops the way to go. We did say tyre wear might be a slight issue, but we didn't think it'd be too big of a problem. But obviously with these two, they're deciding to go for the more stops. They're obviously thinking they'll get back the pace they lose in the pit stops on track. As Redshaw's actually come out in a very nice little spot there. He's got a nice gap up to Canapino, so a little bit of strategies there from CSG. They come up a nice little bit of a clear air for him to push on those new tyres, so we wouldn't be surprised if Red Archer maybe have to react to that. And now they've seen that he's in clear, I'm sure that Red Archer might have to be sort of forced their hand, perhaps. And maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're just trying to force the hand of Red Archer here and just take him out of their comfort zone. They've been looking pretty comfortable so far, so maybe they're thinking, right, let's just do a bit of a trickster with the pit stops, and maybe they'll force them into a situation they don't want to be in. And they'll just force them to go, do we go 2, do we go 3? It might get a bit of doubts in their mind as they go along here.
It's not worked out for Alex Cooper, though, in 14th position. He's come out right behind a raging battle between Florian Gaia and Menno Clont for 12th and 13th. And all the while, that's already brought up a 3-second gap between himself and Lewis Redshaw. And that's Cooper running wide at Cops, which will kind of null any move that he'll try and make further on down. Let's see whether any Red Archers are in this time. Lopez dives in, as does Pushka. So Missilus continues on. Viaduct's in the pits as well. So I found that actually the drop-off of... Oh, no, Weeks is round! Weeks is round! No, the Jordan cam wasn't on Jordan at the time. At the exit of Stowe. Was he helped round?
I'll just check.
It moved him. That may have been another inter-team problem. But Jordan, ever the pro, has just decided, oh, screw it then. Into the pits I'll come for some tyres. Might as well. You're facing that way, mate. But I tell you what, if ever anyone needs a rabbit foot for some lucky charm and maybe some lucky heather from some dirty little gypsy, that is the man.
I don't know. I just can't deal with how much bad luck he's had. It's ridiculous. You can't
deal, can you?
I can't deal. Like, just he needs the amount of stuff that's happened for him is just and almost all the time he's just an innocent bystander. He just gets in the wrong place, wrong time. It's happened again. Poor old Jordan. He just never has any luck here. Never, ever. And as you say, if anyone needs luck, he hates it, honestly.
P3's looking a wee bit tasty, though, with Mindergaus Columbus, Augustin Canapino, Tom Parker and David Fidek that appeared in behind them. They've actually, that's the most spread out they've been so far, but they were nearly 2 by 2 going through Cops, and Canapino's got a really good exit from the complex and down into the hangar straight, and he may try and get round Columbus now. What that does show, though, is exactly how much as Canapino does go for the inside. Columbus gives him just about enough room, and Columbus may want to try and pit, but he doesn't. Canapino and Parker go in. Columbus now half defending from Viaduct. That may be misadvised unless you're two-stopping, mate. And it's completely mucked up his final run through into the final corner. Runs out wide. Viaduct may try and have a nose down at to turn one, and that'll be brave. Oh, Columbus gives it to him. Actually backed out there. So he clearly knows that he's not battling him. Viaduct then back into the lead. Columbus yet to pit in second. I wonder if Mindergaus is two-stopping. Then Missilis third. Lopez four. They've got out ahead of Redshaw, so that is key. Then it's Pushka in sixth, who's leapfrogged Cooper, who got stuck in that traffic, and Vandervoort, who wasn't able to leapfrog his teammate. Klontz back out in 9, who's not stopped yet, actually. Nor has Tapper in... Oh no, Tapper has stopped in 10th, but he's out ahead of Clanapino, who's beaten out Parker. And then it's Schroten, DeVos and Niemanen who have yet to pit, rounding out the point scorers at the moment, as Ben Horrell leaves the pits in last. So my key now is Mindergaus Columbus. We saw him go counter strategy a few times this season. That's worked to his advantage. I think Turkey was one of them. And I wonder if he's going to try and do the same again this time, even if it's just switching up who goes onto what compound, because everyone except Jordan Weeks has gone onto the option tyre again. Jordan, now off of strategy because of that spin, has gone prime.
Yeah, indeed. He's obviously thinking he'll get the slow one out of the way and maybe have some pace later on and just sort of work his way up. He's shown, as we know, he showed good pace earlier. He's got the pace to be up there. As Fran Lopez, by the way, goes up the inside of Missilis into Stowe. Missilis didn't seem to fight it too hard. As actually, there you go, Columbus is in as, oh, that was interesting there. They nearly had a bit of contact there. They get through all right. Oh, no, a bit of contact with Redshaw. Fran Lopez.
He's going to
get messy. Yeah, and so Missilis now gets back the position. Lopez wants to get it back. Look at this Pushka in all this has got up another spot. He gets past Redshaw. Fran has a look into the turn one. Oh, amazing fighting. Remember, these two are teammates, by the way, so they're fighting very hard as Fran feeling he needs to go defensive from Pushka into the stadium section here of the circuit. So this is a feisty old battle for second spot. And keep in mind that the man who's always in the shadows, Alex Cooper, is just behind this. So if they start kicking off, Alex Cooper will benefit big time in that Simcraft midnight car. And once again, just pointing him out as, oh, hang on, quickly, we'll go back as Red tried a little poke again at Pushka. So tell you what, this battle is kicking off. Just keep in mind the gap to the lead is 5.7 seconds now. So Fidek's just sitting there rubbing his hands together going, fight all you like, guys. I'm just going to gallop away into the sunset.
They'd actually gained a little bit of time under that pit stop phase, because he was having to pass Mindergaus Columbus. He's really lost out and has rejoined in 11th position because of pitting later. That may pay him dividends later on, though. But it's helping Red Archer so long as that they can squabble each other enough so that no one can get past the pair of them because they're too busy diving back and forth. As soon as it starts to become that one of them, someone like Lopez, Pushka or Redshaw does get past one or two of them, then they're going to have to stop fighting each other and work together to solve the issue, because it's not helping at all as Pushka runs right off wide there. Lucky to do it. There's a little bit of a bump in that grass that can send you off right onto the inside curb, but he done the right thing. Sometimes you just, it was what happened with Gaia. You stop spilling. You stop steering so that you don't spin, but it just means that you have a weird entry back on again. There's who's that changing position? That is Columbus. Oh no, it's Schroten into the pits. Sorry. Indeed.
I just nearly had a little moment there for Augustin. His connection can be a bit interesting at times. He just flickered a couple of times as he was going into the last couple of corners. So I was like, oh, is that a DC? But he came back. So he's still going. Looks like it's okay, but I wonder if that maybe will come back later on as Riffle and Schroden are in. As keeps leading at the moment. Fidek, he's 5.8 now. He didn't gain too much on lap. Only about a tenth he gained on the guys behind. Although to be fair, they're not really fighting as hard as they were. But they are still line astern in that battle for second spot. So it's interesting to see Red Archer again, as we said, having a quite impressive race here. Definitely their best they've had probably ever as a team. Let's be realistic here. And then, of course, as we've said, it's Pushka on the charge. Back up to fourth now. So it's been a good recovery from Pushka, and this is going to bode well for his championship hopes. And he is ahead of Redshaw, who, of course, as we said, is behind himself and Fidek in the championship. So he's managed to get back past one of his main rivals. But Fidek's still leading, so if he can keep leading, Pushka sort of maybe get fourth or fifth, he'll get some big points in the championship. And Simcraft 6th, 7th, going along a bit quietly now in their own sort of space. And it's Tap having a good race. Vodball there in 8th. And Canapino, as we said, recovering after the spin at the last corner. And then it's Parker 10th for CG, having a nice race again. Nice, another solid performance from him. And then Columbus 11th, Klontz is 12th, and it's Gaia, Libia, and Jordan rounds out your point scorers. He's got back in the points, Jordan. He's actually just behind Libia now, so he's still showing good pace on the prime tire, which maybe I wonder if the teams will just be having a look at that with interest, because he's showing good pace so far on that prime tire and really charging through the field.
Yeah, and you're right, actually. He will be Monsieur Guinea Pig as they sort themselves out. Pushka on the back of Lopez for 3 and 4. Is he going to have a look? No, he got a bit of a tardy exit out from turn 3, although Lopez again locks up into that long left-hander. It's different lines you can take through that. It's always interesting. Also, just through pit stops, which will potentially turn to points later on. Royce-Roten leapfrogged Bart de Vos as 13, 14, 15. Clont, Libeer and Weeks. Ooh, that was very, very close. And Weeks up 2 positions because Clont was the last one to pit. Clont really losing out in that pit cycle because he's pitted so late. But Weeks up to 13, Libeer to 14. Clont will be up to speed in 15. But Libeer's going for it and don't want to kill Kenny. And he just stays there just for now in the niche though. But he's got 2 feisty Woods guys right behind him and a Kerno as well. And they're desperate for points, that team.
Oh yeah, indeed. No, I was just watching that. I think there's a little bit of an interesting moment through turn 1 between Libeer and Jordan. They just Libeer, I think, had to go off-road, and that sort of led to them having a bit of an awkward re-entry as Clont was entering as well, so they all kind of collided. Whoop, sorry, a bit of lag there, but yeah. Interesting to see Woods. They're now 15 from 16, so having a good result so far. What have we seen now?
Pushka ahead of Lopez for 3rd and 4th. Was that what you was just saying in the lag there, sorry?
Oh, yeah, no, it's just mentioning that battle there. Hang on, I'll just go back and have a look. Okay, I was in the Stowe. There you go, just went up the inside in the Stowe, actually. It was quite a good move. Just, yeah, stuck up. Did what my classic advice. Those in the forum and in the league know what I'm talking about. Those inside joke will know.
Oh, he's going to go for Missilus around the outside.
Oh,
that Missilus there went deep into... I want to say Priory, it's not at all. But now they go around Woodcote and he's going around the outside and he's going to do exactly the same as what he's done to Alex Cooper into Stowe. Is Missilus going to be hard on the brakes? Yes, on the gas, sorry. Yes, he is. Pushka there pushed out wide, literally, by name and by nature. Here they come then into the complex. This is all going to be interesting because they're about to lap Dewald Nell, who's had to come in for a second pit stop. I didn't see any wings missing from him, but he's come in for a second stop regardless. Well, goes right out to the edge of the track. Well done there, Dewalt. What that has done is allow Pushka a double toe. Missilus does the old chop. Well, if Philip Pushka wasn't a Jew beforehand, he certainly is now. But what it's going to mean is Fran Lopez is going to try and go around the outside. Yes, he does. And that is what we call teamwork for the Red Archer team, making sure that they keep that bottle cork firmly on the bottle. And no one can be an alcoholic tonight around the Silverstone circuit.
Indeed, no, that was an interesting little moment there as they went into Stowe. So some interesting maneuvers again from Red Archer, and bear in mind the gap now 7.8 seconds. So Fidek is just absolutely galloping off down the road. And I say, well, this has happened a few races now. We've had this where there's been a leader who's just kind of galloped off while all the battling's happened further back. So it's interesting. It's kind of a theme that I've been noticing throughout this season as well. So I've just seen. All right, Canapino's just gone back at Tapper.
Lopez on Missilus for 2nd and 3rd. He popped out at the very last moment. Missilus has been locking up into that, running wide into that corner, and Lopez actually has been locking up a few times before. Oh, and Pushka, a fantastic exit out of into Woodcote there. He almost caught himself by surprise because he had nowhere to go. Had to push out wide and was like, oh, I can't do it here. He's then won wide through Cops, which is going to compromise him slightly on the exit into the complex itself. Redshaw sitting there lapping his lips thinking, I fancy this as a crash being delicious at some point. However, they have all stayed in the right place at the right time as Kenny Libeer and Roy Schroten have just got round Tom Parker, who's been off of the track and is... Oh no, Tom Parker's lagged out, sorry, so he will rejoin back into his normal position as Lopez, Missilus, Pushka and Redshaw battle 2, 3, 4, 5, throw a blanket over them and you've got yourself some piggies in it.
Oh, indeed, yeah, no, and that battle for 14th still going off, by the way. It's Libeer now ahead of Schroten, and then Menno and Bart, they're also fighting over that 13th spot, and it's only a little bit of a gap back to Ari Neerman, who's holding on the back there, and he's got recovering Nick Rowland and Marcus Riffle coming up behind him as, I was about to say Bell's still going along, he just had a little bit of an off there, and that's let Mark Wicks go through. He drops down to 22nd now, and then Horrells is upon that too, and of course Dewalt now a lap down after that extra stop, but that battle for second still kicking off as Pushka now into third. Look, this is going defensive against Missilus down the straight here, and all Redshaw looking as well. It's all very tight. Oh, they go around the outside, all contact. That's going to help Redshaw. He goes through on Missilus, who just had a bit of a contact with Pushka through the double left-hander there. That's given Redshaw that fourth spot, as we said. He was licking his lips, I'm sure, as they were fighting away, and he's taken advantage of that little bit of a moment from Missilus. And again, I was mentioning Alice Cooper. He's just behind. He's only about 2 seconds back, so...
Did you say Alice Cooper?
Alex Cooper, sorry. I said Alex.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I want to see the Superleague road motorsport cars arriving with air hair, like proper rock hair and like Alice bands and everything. But that's key because that's the first time that the Red Archers are separated and there's more than one car between them, so they can no longer coordinate a little bump back through for their other teammates. So they're going to have to be real over time now. And immediately you can see Lopez on the limit, the car kicking out in the rear, really on the edge of adhesion as he was going on the exit of Stowe, round to complete lap 20 and start lap 21. And this is Pushka and Redshaw's time if they're going to make the moves.
Yeah, indeed. No, I'm just looking back at... Ooh, hello. Ooh, no, that battle for 13th, a bit of a moment. Bit of contact between Schroden and Liberia, and that's why they've dropped back. Ooh, boy, that's a nasty bit of contact through Stowe. That's why they've dropped back, and that's left enabled Clont to go through to 14th now, and then it's DeVos now who's in 15th, and then Schroden and Liberia, so that's why that's changed around. I just noticed that when I was going through the field, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, what happened there? So I just went back and replay and saw that. Oh, hello, Pushka coming back through. Yep, there he is into second spot, so he gets through on Fran going for the...
But that's too wide, is it? No, he's got it. You can go up the inside loop as you really can. I've done it myself, and if I'm the back marker, I should be able to do it. You can too. They come round into Wood... Go across the old start-finish line, old retro years. Pushka's on the inside this time. He's sized that one up beautifully. And Lopez, they're really pushing left, pushing right. He wants to push Pushka off. Don't do it into there. That's a cropper. Redshaw now looking like he's got nowhere to go either. And the car, especially Lopez, looking so pointy on the front end that it's almost like a dart and a ferret up a trouser leg because it's just like joosh, 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 joosh. But here comes Redshaw then. He quite fancies a little look through, but I think he's a bit too far back to do it. And, well, that was key for Pushka. And if he can now push to pass and get some moves, some distance between himself and Lopez, he's going to be instantly looking back, not forward, I'd imagine, because of the way how Redshaw is positioned to him. This now makes the lead potentially very tasty. There's 9.1 seconds between Fidek and Pushka, but I don't imagine it's staying 9.1 for long.
Oh no, oh, Missilus is off. Missilus is off down into the, I believe, the second corner. I don't know what happened there. I'll look back. He's come back in 5th spot, so he's rejoined ahead of Cooper, but that drops him off the back of that fight.
Oh, he caught the inside curb.
Ooh, yeah.
I tell you what, though, if he'd done that in the Winter Olympics for skating, he would have got 10s all round, because that was a beautiful little pirouette.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, but 9.1 is still the gap, but as you say, I do suspect Pusher's going to be closing. He's shown a lot of pace so far, and I do think he's got better pace overall to Fidek. But he has got a nice lead, Fidek, so we'll be keeping an eye on that, and I'll be interested to see how he goes. There's now Redshaw now on the back of Fran again, so he's having another look here for 3rd spot. He just tucks in behind as they go through here now. Missilus just behind, and then Cooper, the Dark Knight himself, again, having another one of those in the shadow races once again. He's an expert. I honestly do. I do think he's an expert. The just sort of hanging around the shadows, going along as Missilus makes a bit of a hash brown in the rhythm section there. But yeah, he's a bit of an expert.
Bit of a shady character.
No. He's a great guy, old Alice Cooper.
If you're expert in the shadows, in my opinion, then you probably need some kind of Ofsted warning. As the battle for 18, 19 and 20 continues, Roland has got round Ari Neiman, and Neiman now has just run wide, and Marcus Riffle says yoink, and takes 19th away for the Adonis racing driver. Goes up into 19th, the Nijo of Ari Neiman, down to 20th. Neiman had a frustrating race by his own admission in the Formula Challenge race on Tuesday, so it's nice to see him giving a go in the Nijo. He's not their normal man behind the wheel. It's good to see him out there and giving it plenty of welly and showing and putting himself in the shop window and seeing what he's up to. However, what's the gap? It is 9 exactly between Philip and David. Yeah,
it's 10. Yeah, so he's, what's that, 3/10? So he's put it back about 3/10 lap. But interesting to see that he's not really gapping Lopez. He's slightly gapped him, but he's not actually gapping him at the rate I thought he would. So interested to see how that goes, but he is still showing really good pace, and he is slowly closing, and he's got over half the race. He's got about 30 laps to bring in that gap, and at 3/10 of a second, that'd be enough. So, interesting to see. I'll be watching him with care, but knowing Pushka, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets on him by the end, which would be an absolutely amazing recovery drive from 11th to be a win. That'd be something to say of Bloodball and really sort of stamp their authority on this championship. As Missler is still behind, he's still got Cooper holding on the back of him, so Cooper's still going along there, and it's Van der Voort and Canapino still trying to recover from that moment in the final corner, but he hasn't really been able to get past Van der Voort. He's just been sort of stuck behind him, and even Tapper actually is in ninth, just been closing in slowly on that battle too. So Tapper showing some good pace there as he familiarises himself further with that Bob Ball car. And then it's Parker and Columbus, and then it's a bit of a gap back to Gaia. Ooh, interesting. That's about an 11 lap, and Cooper as well. So interesting. Now once again the first flinch. Can the undercut work this time?
You know, I know car speeds are very different. The front left tyre, sorry, was the one that wore out for me quickest in the lower Formula E. But I didn't find generally that there was a massive drop-off in terms of time. Obviously in the higher Formula where you're going at higher speeds and grip is more essential, I'd imagine, that drop-off is bigger. But it is surprising me that they're coming in so early, and I suppose because the pit stop... was Jordan Weeks round on the start-finish straight in 13th and into the wall? Oh, no!
Oh, Jordan.
Oh, Mr. Weeks. Well, if it is a week, it is a Jordan spinning in it. So I suppose we all know that the world has course-corrected itself. Okay. But down into 19th, 20th position, he's got himself back going again. I wonder what rear-end damage there is. It looks like he's parking.
Jordan, it's just... he just can't. He just, as I said, he just can't get any luck. So the bad luck streak that is Jordan Weeks, unfortunately, continues. So it's a real shame for him. It looks like it's pretty much a carbon copy of what Canapino did there. He just took too much curb, and unfortunately, he went into the wall, and that's what was
here comes
his problem.
Canapino on Van der Voort, doesn't he?
Yeah, look at that. Oh, look, going into Stowe, goes round the outside. Van der Voort having to peel into pit lane there. That was nearly a bit of an awkward moment, but he managed to avoid contact, so good stuff there. But yeah, Van der Voort in. And everyone else in? No.
Every motormo nightmare ever, as Fidek was in as well from the lead. Yeah. You know when you're on like, I just need to get off at this lane, and then there's like two lorries going at 59.9 and 59.8 miles an hour trying to overtake one another over about 12 miles, and you're like, no! So yeah. Tweet in if you've ever had that before, hashtag GPVWC live. But Pushka then leads the way, first time we've been able to say that this evening, ahead of Lopez Misalis. Fidek's rejoined in fourth, and again into some beautiful clear traffic, although Misalis is only about 3 seconds up the road, to be fair. Then it's Canapino, Tapper, Parker, Columbus, Redshaw has come out in ninth, ahead of Gaia. Cooper in clear air this time round, he'll be grateful of that. And well clear of Van der Voort as well, so that's worked out. It's Bart de Vos off the track in 14th.
Oh, that was... Roy. But Roy goes around, unfortunately. That was just a bit of an awkward sort of area. I think he, again, just did too much curb. And then round he went, and then Schroten gets in the mix as well, and that's let Libia through to 15th.
Did Roy just get so actually scared by seeing that being aimed at him that it threw him off track? Just like in avoidance.
It almost does, doesn't it? Like he twitched to get away from it, and that's just kind of made him go around. Yeah, it's possible. To be fair, I'd probably cack myself as well, honestly, if I saw a car just go flying into the back of me as well. I'd probably do the same thing, I'll be honest. So, bit of a moment for Roy, but he's still going, and now he's got actually Roland on the back of him. So Roland and Riffle are about to come up on the back of that little scuffle that's going on. And that's good for Mano, by the way, because Mano did have Libia and Schroden really pressuring him, so he gets a bit of a moment of relief now in 13th, and that's actually quite a massive gap up to Van der Voort now. So it's interesting to see the pace difference between the top half of the field and the rest of them. A bit of a massive pace difference, which I find quite interesting. But yeah, who's that? Oh, Pushka just in the traffic. But yeah, Snow. Interesting to see as Missilis now leads, as Pushka has pitted. He's come out in traffic too. He's come out behind... Oh, he's behind Redshaw. So it's interesting. Oh no, behind Parker, sorry. So yeah, he's in a bit of traffic, and he's got Columbus behind him. It's a bit of a gap back to Fran Lopez. So Pushka, interesting to see, he's really gained in this pit stop phase. And then Lopez, who's now actually got a nice gap over Redshaw, and Lopez on the prime. So that's interesting to see. Redshaw on the option. So I'm interested to see if maybe Redshaw can come back at Lopez again. And if maybe that'll switch around again in the final stop, when obviously Lopez will be on the option and Redshaw will be on the prime.
Lopez had a faster stop than Pushka, and then just didn't quite get it out on the exit so well, and he's really skidding round on this opening lap on the primes, trying to get the temperature in it. Dewalt Nell has crashed out, unfortunately.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, he's just lost it at at the old last corner. Oh yeah, just went over the curb. His car just, on my screen, his car just dug into the ground, and round he went, and he's just called it a day. So Bit of a shame for DeWalt there. He was having a just a nice consistent run, but unfortunately he's out for green stripes, and so that
14
leaves
and
just Ben Hole
15.
left. Ooh,
Have a
hello.
little looky at that, and that was it's Bart DeVos there backing right out for something. Actually, that was bizarre. I don't know if Bart DeVos has got some kind of technical problem or something like that, but him and Libir were going side by side round everything, and now DeVos is off. Oh, Kerno, the allergy to points continues for everyone's favourite. Looks like a Bertie Bassett suite car. And he's back going again in 18th, but something's not right with Bart DeVos's car because he was slow all the way up that hill as if he wasn't able to select a proper gear or had like a dragging brake or something. And I wonder if he's not pulled into the pits this time by. Maybe it was just a temporary techie issue, but that's pushed him out of the points and down to 18th, sadly.
Yeah, indeed, no, he's looking good for points. Now he's dropped back, and with, of course, Riffle and Roland still recovering. I know it's looking a bit, less retirements, of course. It's looking like maybe points could be a bit of a hard one now for Kerno. So, shame for Bart, but yeah, interesting to see as we have, I believe, reached the halfway mark. So, halfway point of the race, and yeah, still going along is, put the beat on, and we shall have a party as Missless now pits from the lead. So, once again, being one of the latest to pit again. So, Missless being adventurous, Canapino in two, by the way, he'd stayed out as well. That relinquishes the lead back to Fidek. And we're interested to see how that gap is. I believe it was about 9 seconds because Fidek was right behind Missless when he pitted. I'll just have a look at what the gap is. It is... Where are you, Pushka? There you are. It is 8.9. So it's actually stayed pretty similar. So can Fidek have some fight here as they're both on the same compound tyre? Actually, the highest prime runner is actually Fran Lopez there in fourth. Look at that. Yeah, as I suspected, Redshaw has really closed in being on the faster tyre. So that battle once again reignites. This time it's for fourth though, not for third because Columbus is still going around in the torrent. So once again, he's stretching that stint out. Missless has come out sixth, by the way. He's beaten out Cooper once again, and Canapino in eighth. And that's Van der Voort. Ooh, and Tapper. Yeah, Tapper had a look there into ninth. As look at that. It was Redshaw's having a look down the inside of Fran. Surely you've got to think it's just a matter of time being on the faster tyre. As Fran, bit of oversteer there on the exit. And that's going to gift Redshaw here down towards the left-hander. Almost a bit of contact there as they almost came together into the corner. He has a look, but no, Redshaw is being patient. He's going to wait until I'd suspect Stowe will be my guess is when he'll have a look as he comes into the Beckett's rhythm section.
There's something about it's a general thing as Lopez again runs wide. It actually is faster to run wide in that corner because it gets you a much better exit round the final two. But I just find that it spins out the car slightly. Redshaw now goes round to the outside. And can he do it round the outside into Stowe? That would be brave man if he can. No, he cannot, but he's got a fantastic exit. And Lopez there actually catching him out slightly. But for being in the racing line at the right point, Redshaw going to have to go on the outside. He's going to be on the curb. There are contact between the two. That was coming from a little while back. Lopez there keeping his car in all of the places. And Redshaw having to be a bit forceful. And I think Lopez not quite knowing when to stop on that specific move. It's difficult down into turn one, but there is something very much about ensuring that when you do something, as Columbus exits the pits in 10th position, he's just about to lose it to Parker, I think. No, he's leapfrogged Parker in all of that, so 10 and 11, so that's a change overall. Just to finish my point, there is something very... Oh, Redshaw's let Lopez back through. Okay, so Lewis Redshaw there clearly feeling that he did bump Lopez out of the way, so making sure that all was fine. But when it's an overtake that in theory should be an easy one, be that you're coming back up the field and it's a slower car, or it's different tyre compounds and therefore you have an inherent speed, more towards the lower formulae, but you get this kind of I'll bash you out the way, or I know that I'm better, so I just expect to dive through and do any old thing. Actually, if anything, that should be the time when you should be a little bit more patient, because you know it's going to happen anyway, and so your move should be clean. And I'd imagine that this, at the end of Stowe, may be one of them. No, Redshaw, they're not able to do anything with it this time round. But it seems to be those moves that become the brash ones, and the rash ones, and the ones where you do bad judgment. As here comes Redshaw down on doing a different execution of the same move, but you'll have the grip around the outside now if that works beautifully, and that does. And that is what I mean by doing the right move at the right time. And that's how it should be done, and it shouldn't be the rash dive bomb downs because you know that you've got a better car or a better tyre or a better driver at any old point. And that's my Bible bash for today.
Yeah, no, it was a very good move, very good move. I mean, again, he's on the better tyre, so it's no real surprise he has the better grip, but very nice move there from Retro. As we said, very clean, very proper. It was good to see a bit of sportsmanship there. He let him through. I did have a look back, and it looked like he just went a bit wide and a bit too deep into the corner. About so, Lopez! Oh, moment into the left-hander. That contact between the two. So Red Archer nearly having another coming together. They've had a couple of moments like that I've noticed where they've been a bit sketchy or dicey, I guess is the term. Dicey, a couple of errors that nearly lead in contact. But there you go. So Missless goes through as Lopez runs wide there through Cops, and that's going to hand a chance to Cooper here, who, once again, as I said, he's been in the background, but here, look at him. He's coming through now. He's really closed on the Red Archers and Redshaw, and who knows? I mean, he's showing good pace, and Canapino even as well.
Oh, Missless is going to let him through.
Or
is he gone
wrong?
No.
I don't know, but look, that's interesting, because look at Cooper. He's gone through on both of them, has he? Surely, around the outside. Oh, please tell me he's going to do it around the outside, as he does. So that whatever's just happened with Missless, that's just handed Cooper the spot. Oh, no, friend. As I looked down the inside, I thought he was going to have a big old lick down the inside, but he thankfully pulled it up in time as Cooper's got a really tardy exit, and that's gifted Fran back fourth spot. This fight is really going on. Look at this. Canapino now gets involved. I'm sure Redshaw's looking behind going, please keep fighting, because I'm just going to gallop away in third spot. Thank you very much.
This is beautiful racing from Fran Lopez, Alex Cooper, Davidus Missless, and now Augustin Canapino's involved too. Tom Vandervoort's in the pits just off your screen. And look at the way how they're all... The cars seem so heavily loaded on the front end there. Cooper, their car spurting around trying to get through. He's going to be caught in a pincer of Red Archers though, because Missless goes one way. Oh, dearie me, Missless there pushes him off ever so slightly. Lopez runs wide as well. Missless will go round the outside and say thank you very much. It is the primed, tired Fran Lopez that is the bottle of the cork, but if he continues to make that Red Archer wider as possible, surely you want to get Missless through, then be the bottle in the cork. This is now smacking of not inter-team play to help themselves push up the order. It's become an inter-team battle that's actually seeing them fall down the order. And as a team boss, I think I'd be on there to Lopez saying, now back everyone else up and let Missless go, because the tables will turn later on. However, Canapino there threw on Cooper, and Cooper there bunched off the track, but that just looked like a pincer move waiting to happen, didn't it?
Yeah, indeed, no, that was just, yeah, the way they were fighting, I was thinking something like that was going to happen, but Missless is clear now, so hopefully she'll be able to gap them and get away as they come up on one of the Kernos. It is Mark Wicks. He's going down, yep, Wixie, and he's, oh, geez, he's actually, oh, boy, oh, no, round he goes, oh, off the track. That's going to be interesting. As I look at this Canapino down the inside, oh, bit of a bargy there between those two. Now he's going to try to switch back. Oh, yep, Cooper just seeing it coming and gives him the space there. He leaves the space, as he gets the nice exit there, and he might actually have a look down into the double left here. I reckon he's going to have a look down the inside. Yep, Fran Lopez going for defence, but unfortunately wasn't quick enough. And Campino goes down the inside. Will he hold the inside line? Yep, a little bit of a touch between the two, but Campino holds. Will he go for the inside? Oh, there's a little spurt of the throttle. They nearly come together, but he's got it done, Campino, as they go down towards Cops. And so he's got the move done, but Lopez will be in the slipstream. He'll be looking to come back. Canapino feels he has to go defensive. That's going to really compromise his exit into the rhythm section. Geez, Fran Lopez, that car, as you mentioned earlier, does seem extremely pointy. He really can just chuck that around like a rag doll, and it just seems to connect. It's really interesting to see, especially compared to the other cars, as they continue to fight away. Tom Parker behind them is just slowly eking up to them as they've been fighting, but he is quite a ways back, so I can't see him catching them in the near future, but they are becoming quite heated battle now, as Lopez now under pressure from Alex Cooper now for 6 spots to go through Stowe. And finally, it seems things are just calming down in that fight. It was really heaters, although, you know, keep having another look again.
It is interesting because of the different way how people are taking their lines. And this is one of the beauties of the Silverstone circuit, is that you can overtake on one corner, but that doesn't mean it's a done deal, because you can steam it right up the inside on the next one and continue going. Indigas Columbus has just retaken Florian Guy for 9th and 10th positions off your screens whilst all that was going on. We had a few more people pitting for different tyre compounds as well. So Mark Wick's now into the pits to swap tyres and sort himself out too. The gap between the leading duo down to 6.9 seconds, so it's slowly disintegrating, that lead, and that is a tasty concept for the closing 20 laps of this British Grand Prix for GPVWC's Super League. Thank you very much for joining with us, whether you are live with us or watching this back on YouTube. Pleasure to have you with us. Pop over to gpvwc.com, sign yourself up for actions, and we love to see you on Twitter and on the comments page in YouTube too. As here comes Alex Cooper onto the back of Fran Lopez, who is certainly keeping people honest in that prime tired shod Red Archer in 6th position. The only other person that we've got really to match him with time-wise is Mindaugas Columbus, and he's doing a pretty fine job too of holding on to the top 10.
Yeah, indeed. No, he's got guys coming back at him now, of course, guy on the option tyre, so it's not too surprising as they battle away. But yeah, look at that, Fran Lopez under big pressure again from, he has about a moment through Stowe that's going to hand a chance to Cooper. He goes the inside to defend. Will Cooper do the outside again? It seems to be a popular move. Nope, decides to just stick in behind. Feels like he can't make that move. Stickler is going to get the exit now and maybe have a look down towards the double left-hand would be my guess to where he's going to set up, because turn one's not really a good spot to overtake, so he'll probably stick in behind and try and get the exit for the double left, or he might even have a look down here into this right-hand. Let's have a look. He goes down inside. Nope, sticks in behind, so I reckon he's going to line that up for the double left would be my guess, as Canapino just slowly ekes it out ahead, and he's actually just catching on back onto the back of Missilis as, Fran gets a big oversteer moment from the exit. That's going to hand a big old chance to Cooper now. I reckon he'll have a look down the double left-hander. Will Fran defend? Or you'd assume he would. He's been defending quite hard so far. Cooper looks to the inside. And Lopez leaving the room. He actually didn't fight that too hard there. It was a bit of a... Although now he is. He's just going to keep the nose stuck there. I thought he was going to be a bit submissive there, but he kept the nose stuck in. And then it gets another bit of oversteer. A lot of oversteer here from Fran. But look at that. He's got a very nice exit considering how he seemed to be a bit tardy on the exit. And he might even get that back into Cops. He does. Wow, very... interesting defense. He's going to hold those still. These two have been side by side for about 5 corners now. It's getting a bit bashy, but there you go. Cooper gets through. Some interesting defense actually from Fran. I'll give him credit. He did not say die, did he? He just kept fighting, but unfortunately he just had to give, as obviously Cooper on the faster tyre. It was kind of expected, as Parker has, he's still catching, by the way, and he's probably, he's about 5 seconds now off the back of Fran, so expect him to be on there soon if this keeps going on.
That was some of the best defending that I've seen Fran Lopez do, because it was some of the cleanest around some of the fastest corners that we've actually got on this circuit. So showing the class that we know Fran Lopez does have. Occasionally it does end up in a bit of a bishy-bashy special, but not there, and that is the kind of stuff that we love seeing from Fran Lopez, who, remember, is his 2nd team that he's driven for in 2015 and his 1st year in Super League. So he's certainly making himself a mark as a future star, if not a mini star in his own right now. Mindaugas Columbus still ahead of Florian Gaia for 9th and 10th positions, although Gaia all over the back of the Torrent Motorsport driver. Both North zones running in the top 10, 5th and 10th, so nicely segmented out. Is Gaia going to have a look down at this popular overtaking place? I find that it's quite popular because actually it's quite difficult to know which way to defend, because if you go to the outside and keep the normal racing line, then you can steam it up the inside. However, if you do go to defend, there's so much grip on the normal racing line, you then have the inside for the following corner. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So you've got to make sure that whatever line you do take is the fastest one that you feel you have at that time. As here comes Gaia, and that is always where there can be a missed opportunity or a miscommunication, and you can take each other off into that complex. I've seen it so many times and I've been involved in a few myself.
Yeah, indeed, very true. As I was just looking at the battle for 4th, it's heated up, but I reckon Canapino's been,
Guy's just diving through, sorry.
Yep, there you go, yeah, and just there you go, gets the move done on Columbus, as we said. Columbus on the prime, so it's kind of expected there, as Van der Voort coming back through as well after his stop. He's got Tapper just behind him, and again having a solid run, Tapper at the moment in the Rob Ball car, getting used to that car and having a nice run so far, so good stuff for him. As I said, Missilis has just been slowly caught again by Canapino, and he's on the back of him once more. He's looking pretty close, but he's not right behind him, but he is hanging on, so I'll be interested to see if Canapino can fight for that 4th spot, as there's a bit of a gap up to Redshaw. He's now on his own in that 3rd spot. It's the first time for a while he's been on his own in the last sort of half a dozen laps, and it's quite a big gap actually up to Pushka. It's about I'll go to quick maths, 12 seconds up to the back of Pushka, who's now only 5.8 behind Fidek, so that is closing down, and I must say it's closing down at a faster rate than I was expecting, as they are going through traffic now, so maybe that is contributing. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm really starting to be a bit concerned for Fidek here, because I do think that Pushka is really closing at quite a rate, but and to be fair, it is still, what is it, still half a dozen seconds as well. I'll just come across the line now and it'll update. It is still, ooh, it's 5.6 now, so I don't know. I'm looking at Pushka right now, and he looks very, very promising. Take a chance for the win as Redshaw in again in the CSG. Will Cooper following in? Yep, once again Cooper follows him in. So again, they're the first to flinch. Can he advantage once more from this undercut?
Well, he's gone to the prime tyres then as Lewis Redshaw, and that's the longest stint that he's done. A whole full 13 laps. Woo. On those tyres. See Cooper doing exactly the same as Redshaw has done lap for lap, and he too has
on the
gone for the prime. So they are mirroring strategy, of course. CSG and Midnight Motorsports, very much sister teams that do not work completely together. The problem for Redshaw is that Florian Gaia has just pipped him down into turn 3. So Redshaw, they're out in 8th position. But he's going to have to make light work of Gaia if he can very early on, because otherwise he's actually going to lose potential time in that battle with Missilis and co.
Yeah, indeed. No, I suspect they'll want to beat Gaia out, because if they'd beaten Gaia out, he had a nice gap up to Parker, who's his next man, and I'm sure that Parker would have probably just let him go if he'd got up to him. So, yeah, interesting. I'm sure they were trying to beat Gaia, but unfortunately just wasn't quite able to beat Gaia, and that has got him behind him now. He's a bit of a cork in the bottle, and he's got Columbus just behind him as well, of course, on that alternative strategy. So, interested to see how he goes here. He's just dropped off the back a little bit now of Gaia being on the option tyre. It will be a worn option tyre, but it is the option tyre, and I'm noticing a bit of a difference now in the pace in these two tyres. As we saw Fran Lopez dropping like a stone, really, as all the option runners got past him, and actually Parker's within a few seconds now. So Parker's looking like he might get on the back of Fran soon, unless he pits. Will he pit now? No, he doesn't pit now. As anyone else in of the front runners, I believe. Yeah, Fidek in. So he comes back out in second spot. But he has a really nice gap back to Missilis, who's still got Canapino shadowing him there in that battle. And it's a bit of a gap back to Fran. But Red Archer, again, still looking good here at the moment for some good results. And as we said, they've looked impressive this race. I mean, there's been a couple of little moments between the two, but aside from that, they've looked very good pace-wise. And as we saw, Fran Lopez having some good battles and showing some really nice, clean defence. And I would agree when you were talking about his defence there, that defensive driving he did against Alex Cooper, although it ultimately failed, was it was just really good to see some really nice, clean defending from Fran, because we do know he has got a little bit of reputation at times for being a little bit on the aggressive side. But it was good to see him being nice and clean and yet still fighting really hard for that position.
It was maturely aggressive, and that's what we like to see. Fidek then into the pits. He's come back out on the prime tyres, so this is advantage Pushka if he's still got any rubber left on those options to make them last. Is he popping in this time to pit? No, he is not. He has got Roy Schroten up ahead that he's going to be lapping very soon. Fidek there is busy lapping the battling DeVos and Niemann, so he's come out just behind what is a battling duo, which will not help him. And actually, Fidek has lost a second on that lap. It's gone from 11.5 seconds to 12.7, and he's still got to get past Niemann, who nearly chops off his front rear wheels in the turn in there. So that was close, or closer than I think David Fidek would have liked. But I think Fidek understands and knows that actually he's running at a disadvantage, and Pushka may as well keep going whilst he's got the advantage on these option tyres. Pitting first and getting the undercut has really not worked here on this phase of the race.
Indeed, no, as I said, it seems like the option tyre, even when it's worn, is still showing better pace than the prime, which I'm finding quite interesting, because I would have thought that, they'd sort of cross over and the prime would start matching. But that's 13.2 now, so Pushka really gapping out on Fidek here. And that's interesting to see. So the prime obviously not really working compared to the option at this phase of the race, as Missile is still under pressure from Canapino. That's third now, as Redshaw's pitted. But yeah, that's interesting to see. I would have thought that they would have been a bit similar at this point, but obviously not. We'll keep an eye on the next sector, what time it is. He should be coming up on the next time split very soon. And yeah, it's interesting to see. No, I really would have thought it's 13.3, and he lost 10th in that sector. But again, he's still, at the very least, he's matching. He's in. There you go, Pushka's in. So, clearly Pushka feeling that... hello. Do I see rain? I see rain.
Oh,
hello.
You do?
Yeah, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The rain has come. And oh boy, I'm rubbing my hands together with glee right now because this could get very interesting indeed.
Especially as Pushka has just gone straight onto the prime tyres, so he's just pitted for dries. Mindaugas Columbus is just disconnected from the game, unfortunately, so he's out. And this is going to be all about the percentage of the rain and how wet this track gets. And if you're in that phase, and it's a shame there for Columbus, because actually he would have been a prime person to do it, I can instantly see spray coming up already, which kind of starts to make you think it's getting towards that switch over point to wet weather tyres or inters. And it's that, can you stay out on those worn dry tyres to the point where actually wets would make sense to go to if it's ever going to get that wet? So it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see what happens in the strategy calls. And I can see drivers running wide already.
Yeah, indeed. No, it does look like it actually is raining quite heavily. That's not just a light shower. This is quite a big downpour from what my screen's showing me. I'm just looking at it now. I mean, we had it, I think last round, we had a couple of spurts of rain, but we didn't have anything like this. This is proper downpour stuff. So this is pressure time. This really tests who's the good drivers in this kind of conditions. If you can hold together. Fran Lopez actually is under big pressure from Canapino. Clearly not really adjusting to the change of conditions. There you go. So our man, Quinton Plain, apparently 15% right now, and it's rising. So our man there, cameraman extraordinaire, Quinton Plain, is pointing out the weather at the moment, and he's looking like he's getting a lot worse. So this is interesting indeed, but Vidic stays out, and so does Canapino. I wonder if Lopez will go in. Yep, look at that. Lopez and Canapino straight in. So
that's Missilis and Canapino, sorry. Oh, and Canapino nearly overtakes Missilis in the pit lane, and the understanding down. See, because normally around 18 to 19% is where you start to switch, and Missilis is onto inters, so is Canapino, so is the green stripes behind. Oh, Libier's gone to wets, as has Mike Bell. That may be a bit too soon. So people are starting to split on the inters and wets because of the downpour. This is absolutely fascinating. In comes Lopez and Tapper and co. Can people get deal? It's now up to 22%. So it's around that 25, 26, 27% where actually inters start to become an issue, and you want to get on your wets. This is going to be corking, and it's 3.5 seconds between Vidic and Pushka.
Yeah, no, you know what? Yeah, as we were saying, Libier actually went a bit wide. So Libier at the moment he'll be actually disadvantaged. But as you said, actually, no, he looks like he's really struggling. So I was going to say maybe he'll gain in the end because he might gain as everyone else loses on the intermediates. But I suspect he'll lose too much time because it just looks like he's really struggling on the wets. So I suspect that might be a bit of a too early call. But then again, I believe he was outside the point. So I guess he's just kind of thought, we'll just go for all or nothing and see how it goes. But look at this. This is fascinating. This really is. Actually, look who's struggling around. Canapino and Vidic. You know who's going to be? I reckon who's going to be the leader after this. I reckon Missilis is going to take the lead for Red Archer. This is just exciting. That's what it is. 30%. So this is interesting indeed. And now look at this. They're on the wets now. Ben Hall onto wets. You've got obviously who said Mike Bell on wets. I wonder if Canapino, Pushka and Vidic will go wets, and then the others are going to pit and go wets. So maybe they will keep the lead. This is just so fascinating.
Klont's gone to wets, Roland's gone to inters, Schroten onto wets as well. So some people still very much divided.
Inters and Pushka enters. Oh, this is fascinating. I am just excited city right now. This is just such a great finish to this race because it's what do you do? Like, is wets right? Is inters right?
It's Missilis that leads.
Oh, look at that. See,
Missilis
there you go.
leads just ahead of Augustin Canapino, half a second between them. Vidic rejoins in third, then it's Pushka's into fourth. So he's got some clear overtaking to do. They're just lapping Marcus Riffle and Adonis, and Missilis is round! Missilis has gone wide, trying to lap Riffle. Through comes Canapino. It's the back marker. It's Lavaggi all over it, but he's got in the way. And Missilis has gone back through again because poor Riffle's got nowhere to go himself. He's got to stay on the track somehow. Here comes Canapino on the inters. It's pouring down with rain. It's not really in the right territory for anything. We're now into 40%. This is now wet territory. Our top wet driver is Menno Klont. He's almost lapped, but he's in 12th place. This is going to play greatly for Woods if that works well. All of that has allowed Tom Parker up into 5th for CSG ahead of Redshaw. So Parker has really won out there. But it is Missilis, Canapino, Vidic, Pushka. You can see them all in your screen together. And look at the traffic they've got to get round. There is Mike Bell, who's on wets, 2 laps down just ahead of them. There's the Woods of Klont too. And Missilis is off! Missilis is off! Oh, he's called it out of the exit of the complex. He's gone off the track, and look at them having to go left and right to get round. They just about survive. Fight going round the outside of Canapino for the lead down at Stowe. Side by side, there's contact between the two. Canapino just about keeps it off, and there's Mike Bell spinning off in front of them. Watch out for the spinning Adonis. I think he's spun through the course, hasn't he? Yes, he has. Oh, he's just about reversed back round again, but Canapino keeps the lead then, and he leads for Norzone. Just ahead, and Missilis is into the pits. He's going to go for wets. He's going to go for wets. We're at 50% rain. Missilis switches to wets. This is going to be the key. Can these lot stay out on the inters and not lose the time? Because in comes Gaia and Lopez, and they're going for wets too. This is absolutely torrential rain here at Silverstone.
Oh yeah, it is bucketing down right now. So this is just fascinating stuff to see. By the way, Mike Wicks has retired too. By the way, he's out in the Kerno, so it's 20 runners and riders left. And yeah, he was on dries, yeah, so it must have just been as the downpour was happening, so I suspect that may have contributed as all. Canapino having to go past, I believe that's Clont, who's on the wets, by the way, which is interesting to see. I would have thought that he would have had similar pace. Oh, Schroten, yeah, as Fighter go down the inside there, and look at that, they're so close, and then Pushka's gaining as well, and actually Parker's not far behind. As you said, Parker has gained massively in this. He's up to 4th and actually jumped his teammate, so Parker doing some fantastic driving and strategy calls there to really gain. But look at that, top 3 within pretty much a second of each other now. As Fighter going around, they're just about to get to another back marker. I believe that's actually Gaia after he's pitted for wets. So, this is fascinating stuff. As look at this Fighter just tippy-toeing around the course. It's still pouring down with rain. This is an absolute storm. That's 60% now on track. It just keeps getting worse and worse. You've got to think it's wet tyres now, and Missilis surely has got to be rubbing his hands together going, this lead is looking, oh no, he's actually, what happened there? He's just, I reckon he may have touched he was just lapping one of the Nijos, and
in comes Fidek.
Oh, sorry, no, I was just watching back. It looks like a bit of a moment with one of the Nijos as they all come in. Oh, no, they don't. Yeah, look, they're all still going, aren't they? Except for Fidek. Fidek's still going.
Yeah.
But Fidek pits, but Canapino and Pushka's still going. So.
And the reason why he's pitted is because Missilis gained a second in the last sector. And so he went from 25 seconds to 23. He's just lost a bit to 24 again. But he's got potentially the stuff for that. Fidek then has in wet tyres and is leaving. Redshaw's in for wets. Parker's in for wets. They're having to stack there in the CSG, so that won't be great for them. Cooper's in as well. He'll go from inters to wets. And it's so very rarely that we get wet tyres. As Canapino's off! He's gone out slightly wide. Pushka takes the lead, but they're on the inters. They're not on the right tyres. But if they can make this last, it will work. They're lapping Riffle, and there's almost contact between them. 66%, but we're starting to drop. And the problem is that Riffle's tyres are better, and he'll want to unlap himself.
Yeah, no, exactly right. He'll want to get off that lap, and so he's trying to fight away with them. Although he's on the back of Canapino now. But apparently now, as I've just seen by the camera, it doesn't look like it's dropping from my view. But obviously, Quentin has the stats. It's telling the rain, but I don't know. I reckon it's going to be pretty similar now. Look at this Canapino having to tippy-toe around. He's got Riffle all over the back of him, so hopefully Riffle doesn't do anything that could cause a bit of contact. But look at this. Canapino really.
So the huge thing with this.
Advantage. No, sorry, there's a bit of lag up, but yeah.
No problem. But the big thing is that Fidek on wet tyres is only 10.4 seconds behind Pushka because they have lost so much time. Missilis has gained 3 seconds on this lap alone, but he's 10 seconds further back from Fidek. And as they stay out again, we're now down to 45% rain. What it's going to mean is that everyone that's coming for wets, if these two can continue on the inters and not go off, the only other people on these are Nick Rowland and Tom Vandervoort. They could potentially gain back their pit stop because these lot will have to come off of the wets and onto inters. Whereas these inters have a wider gap of how things will work. And immediately, Missilis has only gained, as he crosses the line, he lost a tenth there in that sector. And that's the first time that we've been even Stevens, as that was Dowie Tapper off the track. He's just rejoined in 11th. Behind Vandervoort, and I can start to see a dry line. Is here come no one? I was watching someone lap someone.
Yeah.
Too much excitement.
Yeah,
but that's
way too much.
But that's Schroten unlapping himself. Sorry, from Pushka. So clearly, wets are still the way to go at the moment, but not for much longer. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah,
30%.
30%, yeah, keeps dropping. But this is interesting. No, I'm noticing Missilis is really struggling on these wet weather conditions, and he's actually going to get passed by Parker. Nearly some contact. 57% online apparently. But yeah, that is interesting. No, Missilis. I'm just noticing Missilis. He's been so impressive, and he's just. I think it's maybe the experience, because Parker, look at this, he's all over the back of him. He's going to probably get him down into Cops, although it's going to be brave on wet weather tyres. I wouldn't probably try it myself, and no, he just goes back in. But Missilis looks like he's really struggling on the wet weather. I suspect maybe either the car's not set up, or he just isn't comfortable in wet weather conditions, because he's dropped so much time to David Fidek, who's just absolutely flying along at the moment, still catching the two ahead. But I don't know. It's still dropping. So I'm almost thinking this could be a bit of a masterclass in strategy from Roland, Van der Voort, Pushka, and Augustin. Because if it does keep drying out, then they don't have to pit, as you said, and then the others have to pit. So this could end up being a bit of a Parker and Missile is having a bit of a coming together at Stowe as they're trying to go along. Keep in mind that Redshaw's just behind, and he's catching on too. As Redshaw now, Parker has a look down into left-hander. Yep, he should. Has 10% now, so it is really stopping. And actually, I can visibly see that it's pretty much nearly stopped now, the rain. So I really do think that, the others who have stayed out, they may have just pulled a bit of a tyre strategy masterclass as Parker gets past Missilis.
It is indeed. So Parker passed there. The other one was Schroten and Riffle have just swapped positions for 13th and 14th. It looked like both of them were actually off. Oh, Nick Rowland is off in the inters, so that's going to have ruined his comeuppance up the field in those inters. He's in 16th position just outside the points, and that could have been a great little coup for him. The rain to me looks like it's stopped in several places, and so this is going to be how long will the race take to dry, and I can see a dry line as Pushka goes round, and he's just starting. He's coming into the complex, so I'll be fascinated to see not so much the inter drivers, but the wet drivers, how many laps they will stay out for. I'd have thought maybe 1 or 2, unless we get some more rain again, as Nick Rowland off the track again in 16th position, really struggling on those inters. Yeah, I'd have thought they would have been the people that were coming into their own, as Schroten and Riffle 13th and 14th side by side, both on the wet compounds. Riffle trying to go around the outside, Schroten desperate to keep it, and I think Riffle's done that, and that was putting all of your balls to the rules. Some people say that when they've been hit by Marcus that they've been riffled, but actually he's riffed out an amazing move there around the outside, cleanly and beautifully done.
Yeah, it's very, very, very clean and nice move, especially in these conditions. It's very hard to, do these kind of clean moves when you're struggling to just keep the car on the track, let alone, avoid other people. But everyone's staying out, so Inter's still going on. The wet guys are still going on, so no one has flinched yet. So I find that quite interesting. As Bart DeVos. Yeah, sorry. Bart DeVos has just gone off. The final corner, nearly going back in the path of Parker and Fran, I believe that was. Missilis, as, he's actually pulled that to the side, and, suspension damage, right, so clearly he's had a mistake. It just looks like, that's interesting. He must have lost it early on, because on my screen he just spins it on his own, doesn't touch anything, and round he goes, he lost it out of Stowe, lost it out of there, and then went straight into the wall, and that was a big amount of contact, so he probably had massively bent steering, so I'm not surprised he retired. So shame for Bart, as he was having a pretty good race there in the Kerno, so unfortunately for them, another points opportunity gone begging.
Yeah, they was in the point stat for us. Kenny Liberia there has just gone off as well in the wet tyres. I'll also say for the first time since we went on to rain, David Fidek has just lost a second. He's up to 8.8 seconds behind Pushka. The tide is turning and inters are now faster than wets, as Alex Cooper has just gone... Florian Gaia has just been passed by Fran Lopez. Lopez up to 7th. Gaia now down to 8th. Cooper is 9th, closing them in, but that was a swap of position. Lopez had lost a few seconds. I think he'd been off the track somewhere, and he's just repassed Florian Gaia in all of that. So that's interesting to see. And again, 9.4 now the gap between Fidek and Pushka, and that's just over a sector. And Fidek there, just looking at him going out of the final corner, he can't get the power down. It's just wanting to oversteer into the corner. And Inter's definitely the way to go, but Pushka has just pulled out a second also on Canapino on Inters versus Inters. So clearly Philip Pushka in a class of his own at the moment.
Indeed, no. Well, he's honestly, I think he's in the whole race. He's pretty much been above in paces. Actually, hello, first to flinch, Florian Gaia I'll just quickly mention this. He's just pitted now, so it looks like he's the first to pretty much everyone to flinch. I wonder if he's going dries. There you go, 35% online. Apparently, it's 63% offline. So I would suspect he'll go inters, no doubt. Let's have a look. Yeah, goes inters. So there you go. So Gaia flinching. So he's the first to flinch. Obviously, he had enough of those wets and goes on to the intermediate tyre. So that will drop him back, but he will have a fresh set of inters. So I'm interested to see how he goes. My phone is a little bit of a spaz, but yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. As yeah, he'll be nice and fast now on those brand spanking new intermediates, and trying to charge to the field. I'm really interested to see how Pushka's going, because he's just absolutely flying. And seriously, he does look like in a class of his own, as Canapino just cannot match him, and he's on the same tyre. So I mean, Pushka words can't describe how I'm just really impressed. It's 7.3 now. He is just absolutely galloping away. I tell you what, Pushka, if this isn't a statement for the championship, I don't know what is.
Definitely, as starting to see the wet, tired shod drivers coming around Stowe now. Let's see if any of them do pop into the pits, and they do not. And Fiduk has lost 3 seconds this lap as he's trying to lap Marcus Riffle, who's not really helping himself, getting in the way and staying on the racing line. Of course, he wants to stay on the racing line. It's where the grip is, but forcing Fiduk off it to try and lap him. Is he going to let him through, or he's not really made that easy? But Fiduk there through, and that's another 2 seconds that he's lost. So he's just lost 5 seconds in a lap. To me, it doesn't. If the rain isn't going to come back out again, and Mike Bell's just gone off on the final corner, and he's lost his he's lost it at Woodcut, and he's lost his front left wheel in 19th position. He was running last, but the rain is kicking back in again, and maybe that's why, as Liberia comes into the pits, and I wonder if he's thinking, "Oh crap, not now."
He's just looked at his thing, because obviously if you have GitHub in the game, it's a nice little tool that drivers have. They can see the wet weather conditions, or the wetness of the track, which is what Quinton is relaying on to us. But yeah, they'll be able to see that rising, and I'm hoping that he hasn't just seen that and gone, "Oh, really? Why did you do it now?" He's actually gone the option tyre for Liberia. Well, that's it's worth a shot, isn't it? It's worth a shot. He is rising. Oh boy, he's got a lot of oversteer as he tries to get that power down. But I mean, he is, to be fair, he's down to 17th, so he's outside the points. So I guess at this point, you may as well try. Like if I was in his position too, I'd probably just throw caution to the wind. You may as well. But yeah.
Definitely. Tom Vandervoort has just taken 9th position from Florian Geyer. A lovely little move down at the end of Sector 1. And that's Inters versus new Inters. So clearly it does take a while for you to get the temperature up into it. But I think Tom Vandervoort will be lapping up that one. He's only 4 seconds off the back of wet compound shod teammate Alex Cooper. And the fact that they were much more than 4 seconds apart earlier on is very, very interesting. Fiduk, 20 seconds off Philip Pushka. So just to make this, remember we've got 2 laps to go now. Well, we're on the last. Are we on the? No, we're on the second last lap. So last lap round, Philip Pushka 1 minute 40.7. David Fiduk 1 minute 47.7.
Huh. Interesting.
So for Fiduk, he's thinking, I'm not pitting because actually I can't make that time back up again. But as Vandervoort's already passed Cooper, here comes Gaia for 9th and 10th position. Cooper's got no answer for that at all. Fran Lopez is only 2 seconds up the road. Lopez is into the pits. He's given up the ghost and has gone, screw this, go Inters. Oh, he's gone options. He's gone dries. No, no, Fran, no.
No.
So, will Lopez make it home? That will be, place your bets now, folks, because that will be joyous. But what that's done is given Vandervoort up to 7. I don't think he'll be able to catch Redshaw, but it'll be close because he's only 11 seconds up the road. And if they're losing 7 seconds a lap, there's potential for that as Dowie tappers off on the last corner in 11th on those wet tyres. They're giving up the goats as Roland takes Riffle for 13th and 14th. They're like 10 seconds a lap faster. It's hilarious.
Yeah, no, apparently the rain is 13% now. It's slowly rising, but emphasis on slowly. It does seem like it's not really bucketing down. It is definitely raining relatively hard, though, but I just don't think it's enough. And the gap is too big now. And as you say, I think at this point, Fiduk's realised that there's no real point in pitting because it's just too late. So you may as well just hold on, take the track position and just keep that third, which...
He's coming in!
Okay, I spoke too soon. Apparently, Fiduk just heard my words and went, "Oh, well, you're very, very wrong, Mr. Hinsey. I'm sorry to prove you wrong." So he's just pitted, apparently. But
he is the anti-Hins.
He is indeed. No, he's the anti-Hins man. That's for sure. He's gone option 2. What is? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this. I'll be honest, because as Quinn keeps pointing out, it is rising slowly. So I don't know. He's going to beat Parker out. That's how much a gap he's got. By the way,
Lopez is off.
Oh,
He's lost his front wing already.
Oh no.
So Fran Lopez, that if anything says you made a wrong move, it's not having a front wing at the end of it. And Fidek's come out on the option tyre, and he's straight off. He's straight off.
No.
The Equal Championship leader's off. He's taken the wrong tyres. This is the first mistake we've seen from David Fidek all season long, if not for anything for the last 2 years. And the Hawkeye driver is floundering around. Through has gone his Equal Championship leader, Lewis Redshaw. He's on the wet tyres and he's tippy-tapping round with 2 to go. Fidek, there is Tom Vandervoort. Vandervoort says, I'll have 6, thank you very much. Ben Horrell's like, can I lap myself, please? Look at this. This is absolutely craziness.
Oh no. Oh.
Is that a mistake on selecting tyres, or was that a genuine call? I can't see that being a genuine call.
No, I just can't either. That surely, because as I said, they would see that the rain is rising, so they would know that you'd at the very least have to go into it. I just can't see why you would put on the option. I just don't know. As Lopez, by the way, he's just going around. He's not even bothering to go for a pit stop, because to be fair, he's a lap down now, so it is the final lap. So he's just decided he's going to finish the race. But there's drama. It's just everywhere. Is Roland now. There you go. So it is rain at 22%. Online is dry. Okay. Yep. So the dry line that is there is apparently 22% too. So there's still a lot of rain. I don't know. That is a really weird mistake. Just consistency. And he's going around again. Oh, he's off again. And he might even hit the wall, I think. He's just, into the back. Oh, that's a big mistake. And I reckon, Cooper's going to go straight past. And, I don't know. I don't think I've seen...
Well, that's the lowest you can go, isn't it?
Yeah, because everyone else will lap down. But that is, as you say, that is such a massively un-Fidek call there. Because he's usually always makes the right call, but just... Not today. So that is, I'll tell you what a race this has been. Just drama everywhere you look. Absolutely ridiculous. But Philip Pushka, what a race.
It is indeed. And here he comes out of Stowe. He's got one last corner to go. Kenny Lybeard doing some donuts on the grass in the middle, trying to get back to the pits. But Philip Pushka, round club for the final time then. And he's going to take an absolutely stonking Grand Prix. Or is he? No, he's in the wall. Oh, no, he's not. He's all right. Philip Pushka crashes across the line to win the Silverstone British Grand Prix, and there you go, the rain absolutely clomps down as soon as he does it. A beautiful win there for Vodball in a class of his own from 11th on the grid. Fantastic stuff. Augustin Canapino grabs second. Tom Parker's into third. He's past Dividus Missilus.
Yeah.
And as they go past Lopez, you can't block him with no front wing, mate. So that's that. Threat gone. Is Parker going to go off? Is he not? Oh no, he's just about kept it together. Missilus is right there. Then there's Lewis Redshaw and Tom Vandervoort on the inters. Does Tom Vandervoort fancy a podium? He's going to have a go at Redshaw surely at the last corner and have a 5th. Or is he going to be looking at their championship aspirations? I don't think Vandervoort really cares. But Tom Parker, after all them disconnects, is going to grab a podium position. And that is very well deserved there from the man who deserves so much but gets so many disconnects. Missilus 4th, he deserved a podium for his early efforts too. Redshaw comes home a very lucky 5th. Vandervoort there. If that would have been another 2 laps, maybe even 1, he would have had that podium. 7th then for Florian Geyer. 8th Alex Cooper. 9 Dowie Tapper. 10 David Fidek then. He is the 10th. Nick Rowland 11th. He was outside the points before all that kicked off. Then 12th for Minnow Clont. 13th Marcus Riffle. 14 Roy Stroton. 15 Ari Niemanen. Fran Lopez not scoring. He doesn't score. 16th place. Crazy. A lap down. 2 laps down for Ben Horrell 17. Lybeer 3 laps down 18. Mike Bell did finish his debut for Adonis 19th and 3 down. Your retirements were crashes out for Bart DeVos, Mark Wicks, Dewalt Nell, Kieran Ryan and Mikko Yakinen, as well as Jordan Weeks. And your sole disconnect was Mindergaus Columbus, who would probably have been thinking I could have quite enjoyed myself those last few laps. But hats off to Pushka, Canapino, Van der Vaart and Roland for making Inter's tyres work in a goddamn hurricane.
I know that was, and I was just thinking, that just kind of shows their experience really. In the end, at the end of the day, I think it shows that the amount of races they've done, and just they knew that the better call was to hang out. They thought we'll be patient and make the the call of just waiting out, seeing what happens. At the end of the day, it really helps. So kudos to Nick Rowland, a really great recovery for him to be in that 11th spot in the end. So fantastic for him when he was looking like maybe getting a point at best. Before the rain hit. But I do want to give a shout out to Woods, double points, Menno Klon and Roy Schroden in the points. So Ollie, I'm sure, will be jumping around with excitement. I'm sure he'll be massively happy with that. So very well done to Woods. That's points they desperately need. Otherwise, just Pushka. Just Pushka. I think that was, honestly, that pretty much the perfect drive. He did pretty much everything right. Just fought back through the field, kept himself out of the main trouble. The exact right calls with the strategy. It was just a class, I think, to the rest of the field. As I said, if that isn't a big, look at me for the championship, then I don't know what is, because that was such an amazing drive. But again, really good job to Canapino, considering his, spin earlier in the race. Good recovery for second. But yeah, Tom Parker, I think, as well, and Missless probably as well, are probably my two, aside from Pushka's, masterclass. In terms of the best of the rest, I'd say that probably Parker, for that podium, is probably my best of the rest. A really great drive for him to keep it going throughout the rain and just those difficult conditions and make the right call to get that third spot for CSG. So really well done to him. But yeah, what a race. I think for me that's definitely been the most dramatic race of the season by far. Just so many things were going on. That was something else. I enjoyed that a hell of a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did.
Well, Sandeep Choda said just in the chat below, and to think I was just about to leave to play Super Trucks. Good job you stayed, Sandeep. And just from our weatherman extraordinaire, Quintin Plain, who also did our cameras as well. How was that for you, mate?
What a race. This British weather, we've just seen it could throw up absolutely brilliant races. And really, Pushka, he got lucky here. No one can guess British weather, but he got his strategy right. And for me, he's my man. He's the driver of the day for me.
Yep. I think we all agree with that. So let's get these brutes in and have a little bit of a chatteroo. Let's drag everyone in for giggles. Why not? So please have your microphones on mute, Mr. Clont. Otherwise, I'll pull you back out again, sir. Thank you very much. Until you are spoken to. Because it's all gone a little bit BDSM in the chat room. So let's start off with the joyousness that is our leader. I don't know. Oh, okay, hang on 2 seconds. Let's pull you out then. With our winner, Mr. Philip Pushka, who, quite frankly, done a masterclass here today of how to get from 11th to 1st with as much drama as possible.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. I had some really close battling, and sadly I had two collisions with both Norgens. So I'm sorry to them if it was my fault. I have to look at it again in the replay. But yeah, one time I had a massive freeze, massive lag on my screen, so I had to judge where Augustin was, and sadly I hit him. And in the first laps, I think I had an incident with Florian. I think we touched and he spun. I have to look at it again, as I said, but yeah, if it's my fault, sorry.
Indeed. And I will ask about the weather. Just the weather. It just came out of nowhere, didn't it? And just rained, and then it sort of eased off, and then it sort of slowly went on again, and it was just all over the place. But how was that last sort of half the race for you? Because we were watching it, and it was just absolutely drama-filled.
Yeah, it was. I was in the pits, I think. Looked at the weather, at the rain, at the percentage of rain you can see on the HUD, and I was in the pits, still standing, and then I saw 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%. I thought no. Then I did go out on the slicks on the prime compound tire, and yeah, it started. I think it was 2 laps I was on it, and the second lap was just minus 700% grip, I would say, and yeah, just getting back to the pits, obviously getting to the intermediate tires, and David obviously decided that it was not good enough and did go for the the heavy wet tire. Yeah, obviously then in the end the wrong decision, but could have paid off. Bad for him, good for me, I guess. But yeah, that's racing, and yeah, it was a really enjoyable race. Otherwise, pace was fantastic. The car was absolutely on point every corner, so I really was a joy to drive, and yeah, hopefully this continues in the next races.
And just as a bonus question to yourself, what that does do is put you, Philip, into, I think, does that put you into the championship lead? I believe it may well do. In fact, it does. So, clearly, driving Inters on a soaking wet track, the bravery was there, and it's paid off because it has given you the championship lead, and that's the first time you've been in that for a few races. So, how's that feeling?
Yeah, obviously, it's good to know, but it doesn't mean anything at this point, to be honest. You can see how quickly things can change. I had to pull off from Monaco and then had a very bad and unlucky race in Canada. Now I won under hardly lucky circumstances, so you see everything can change in 1-2 races. So you see Fernando Alonso leading with 30-40 points, 4 or 5 races to go, and then in the end losing to Vettel by just a few points. So everything can happen, and yeah, obviously trying to get as many points as possible for the moment.
Yes, don't make us sad on that thought of enough of the championship. Although everyone's suddenly now rooting for him because he's underdog. But no, thank you very much, Philip, and well done for being our championship leader at the halfway point. So moving swiftly on to the other man who is on the podium, and it's been a little while coming. And there's been no disconnection for you this time, and it is a pleasure to see you on the Parker podium, on the podium, Parker, Mr. Tom Parker. How is that for you? Because that was a corker and a real cliffhanger finale.
Yeah, I don't know. It was amazing. It was just amazing. That's all I can say. Just yeah.
Yes, I can understand. No, we've been just. I mean, honestly, I'm speechless from all this. It's just been the most amazing race to watch. But how was up until the drama? I'll do the opposite end of the coin this time. Up until the drama, how was your race up until then? Because of course after that it was just carnage. Things are happening. Oh my god, what do I do? But up until then, how was that race for you?
Well, it all started in quali because my computer decided to restart just before I left the pit exit line, so I only had half the session to do quali, and I couldn't have done much better anyway. 12 was probably the best I could have done, but the pace was there. It just wasn't enough, basically. I don't know what happened. My pace was off, and everyone else was just so much quicker. It's just, for some reason, in the second stint, my tyres were just amazing. The wear, I don't know what happened. I don't know what was happening, but the wear was so much better in the second and third stints, and that's why I jumped everybody, because they had all pitted for their final stop, and I didn't have to pit. So yeah, I got a bit lucky. I will admit I was lucky, but I did have to fight hard to take Missless and to defend from him, and it was probably the worst 5 laps of my life, if I'm honest. But I'm ecstatic, and there's a bit more work to do, but I think we'll be a bit more on the pace next race, hopefully. So fingers crossed. And it's good for the team's championship that we've got a 3rd and a 5th. So can't complain.
Well done. Great stuff. So moving on to a guy that looked like he was going to be in your spot that you kindly nicked at the very end there, Mr. David Fiduk. And I think we're gonna label that tile change at the end #FidukFluff. Talk us through that, because you wasn't the only one. Was that a genuine I forgot to select it on the menu, or was that an actual strategy call? Because that was a fascinating end.
Well, I just want to laugh at Tom's comment of the worst 5 laps of his life because he didn't see my race. But
true that, mate.
Yeah, come out of my last stop on primes and obviously started raining. So like everyone else, put the inters on, perfect. Still in the race. Got harder. Went over 55%, which is the cut-off point for inters to go onto full wet. So I did it. And then as soon as I come out the pit, the rain started going down again. But Philip and who was it? Canapino stayed out. So that already left me behind. The rain started going down quite quick. I was still on full wets. I was able to hang on for a bit and then just lost bucket loads of time. So yeah, went back to inters. No, I didn't. Sorry, confused. I've done so many stops. I carried on until it went under 20%, which is again the cutoff for dries. So put options on, and then the rain went back up. So yeah, just unlucky. Yeah. Spun on the second to last corner. And the rain was going up. So rather than risk the last lap, I thought I'd pit and just wait for Philip to cross the line and get 10th from the pit lane. But yeah. Yeah, Dave's guide of how to destroy a race.
It was to be fair, it was no one could predict the weather of that race. It was just all over the show. But I mean, obviously now that means you'll be, I think it's second, I believe, or even actually might be third, depending on the points. Third, yeah, there you go, third in the championship now. So looking ahead, obviously Austria's next. What are you expecting from yourself for the next race after this? I'm assuming you want to move past this as quick as you can and just focus on the next race and get back to form. But what are you looking at for your next round in Austria?
Yeah, well, I was stupidly thinking that while I was going around on lap 30. Oh, Austria's next, not bother concentrating, and then all that happens. But just shows you shouldn't take your eye off the game, innit? Yeah, Austria's good. Like the track. I think I got P2 there last year after all the incidents. Yeah, I'm gathering other teams will have some updates. We won't have next race, so it'll be a struggle for top 5, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah, we pushing really hard to bounce back, and yeah, I think I gather I'm going to be like probably about 10 points behind now, Philip. So need to step it up.
Well, talking about stepping it up, actually, I hear proud daddy.
Very proud. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up because I'm going to probably cry now. Not many people know about my boy. He's got a disability. So it's very hard for him to take part in sports day. And today he did it. And as he crossed the line for the sprint race, he had so many parents and kids cheering him and clapping him on. And yeah, thanks for making me cry on broadcast. But yeah, cheers.
Oh, big hugs, mate. But no, it deserved to be mentioned. It was
Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff. Good to see. Moving swiftly on to Mr. Florian Guile, who spent most of your race battling with someone or another and not really getting a rest throughout. How was that for you? Because you seem to be under attack from all directions.
Hello. Yeah, it was a pretty frustrating afternoon. Pretty pissed actually. Yeah, sorry, but qualifying didn't go well. Start was okay. I went side by side with Philip into the last chicane. As him, I don't know if you actually touch, but I spun and was dead last. Yeah, and that was pretty much my race finished. I had to battle again through traffic. But the car was great. I could attack and overtake most of the guys. Was up to P13 or so, behind Tom at one point, about 5 seconds behind him. As him, my tire wear was as his tire wear, mine was pretty good as well. So I managed to jump Alex and Lewis in their stops. As it rained, I think I was still some like 5-6 seconds behind Tom. So we have this early lap incident didn't happen. I could have finished on the podium, but I don't want to take anything away from those guys. They deserve it, especially Tom. And Dave is such unlucky. I mean, he was P1. For us as a team, Augustin finished P3, so good points for us again. Yeah, as I said, pretty disappointed by my race.
Yeah, well, fair enough. No, it was a bit of a drama-filled race for you. But one question I ask, obviously with the development, of course, the car coming along quite nicely. I believe it is one of the best developed cars in the field. And just wondering, looking ahead for the rest of the season, obviously the car coming quite well. What are you expecting from you for the rest of the season with the car beginning to really come into its own at this point in the season?
Yeah, it's a pretty good car. We lack a bit of diffuser downforce, which I guess costs us, I don't know how much, but compared to cars like the Wartburg or the Hawkeye or whatever, they got quite a lot more than us. don't want to let this that count as a um, yeah, yeah. I think we got a good car and future upgrades. I don't know. Right now, we keep going because we want to win, um, and we aren't winning yet. So we gotta put some more on.
Grand
Fair enough.
stuff. Grand stuff. Thank you very much. Just diving swiftly itself onto Monsieur Menoclont, who grabbed himself some filthy points towards the end of that race, I think. How was that for you? Because Woods grabbing a double points finish, much needed for the lower end of the field, and I imagine a bit of a shot in the arm for confidence.
Yeah, well, that was great. I as a reserve driver got P12, and well, yeah, I had a good race, but yeah, when it rained, it was like, oh my, like the car, it was so difficult to get around, and well, the whole race I had a higher downforce setting, so yeah, in the dry I had some bad luck, but yeah, in the rain it was a bit better, but yeah, I gambled for full wets, and yeah, that paid off at the beginning. But the last 4, 5, 6 laps, yeah, it was getting drier and drier, and the intermediate was faster, and yeah, Nick Rowland overtook me with 1 lap to go. But yeah, all in all, I think myself and Roy Schozen and whole of the Woods team will be very happy with those points we scored today. So yeah, happy.
Indeed, no, I'm sure they'll be extremely happy with those results because it'll be good, obviously, for the development of the car. But speaking of development of the car, how is that going with the car? Of course, it's not actually on the development table. I think it's actually going on quite well on that. So it's not as one of the lower ends of the field. But for you, how's the car like to drive for this race? And looking ahead to the next round at Austria.
Yeah, the car is getting better and better. And the team did a good job. In the beginning of the season, we had some problems with upgrading, but I think now we are catching some of the other teams, and I think Woods has something for the next races. But yeah, I, as a reserve, did 4 races now, so this season I will not return in the Super League. But yeah, I think Jarl and Roy do an excellent job with the improved Woods car in the future.
Grandiosi! And last but not least, we have a Monsieur Mikey Bell, who survived what must have been a bit of a baptism of fire for a debut event with a changeable conditions in the Adonis engineering car. But you kept it all in one piece just about, vaguely on the island at most times, and actually you were keeping up with the rest of the field, which I think is a nice bonus to have when you're thrown in or a debut kind of last minute-ish.
Very last minute. It's actually I've driven one race in Super League before, and that was back in 2013 at Abu Dhabi. But both races have been a case of, oh, Mike, can you drive with about 20 minutes, half hour before the race? So I'm pretty pleased at how I got on the pace for Silverstone. Menno helped out a lot, sent me a setup. And I was just working with that, and in the dry, it was all right. I was able to hold my own, and then as soon as it rained, it just was horrible. I don't know. I think I may have got the percentages wrong when I was dealing with the tires, and I came in for the wets literally as soon as it started raining, because I'd had a little bit of a spin and taken my front wing off, so I was going in the pits anyway, and I thought, hell, why not? It's starting to rain and it's going up and up and up. I'll go on wets, and it was quite a task to drive it around for the first few laps, and yeah, I'm pleased I got it to the end, but if it was a drier race, I could have maybe had a better result.
Yeah, well, I think in those conditions, just finishing, I think, deserves quite a big pat on the back in my eyes. But one question I've asked, because of course you did Super Cup last round at Canada, and just out of curiosity, of course, because obviously now you've driven the Super Cup car recently, and now you've driven the Super League car, albeit in a little bit different conditions. But how big is the difference between those two cars from going from the sort of second tier to the top tier?
Well, it's got an extra gear for a start, and I know for me that makes a lot of difference, because I don't really look at what gear I'm in. I'm sort of like mentally thinking about it, and I'm used to driving 6 speeds. So in Formula Challenge, I'm always shifting into neutral. So in Super Cup, always shifting down to first when I think I am, but here it's down to second and the revs are all gone. It's like, that's the biggest change I feel, but obviously it's a lot faster, a lot more downforce. Basically, Super Cup car on steroids.
Well, steroids was certainly the end of that race, wasn't it? Because we were certainly on tenterhooks. And thank you very much for everyone for joining in. I apologise that was a lengthy collection of interviews, but it was nice to get everyone's opinions and have a bit of a giggle at the end. As always, thank you very much for staying with us. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the Austrian Grand Prix, marking the kickstart of the second half of the GPVWC Career Ladder Championship. You'll have Formula Challenge on the Tuesday, Super Cup on the Wednesday, and then again Super League on the Thursday, where we'll be seeing just exactly who out of David Fidek, Philip Pushka and Lewis Redshaw will be battling out to retake that championship lead, which seems to be passed around more than some kind of filthy throw your key in the middle of the table and see who gets the winner. So, from Quintin Plain and from Thomas Hinds.
Indeed. If I'll just say a little last word, my last little comparison summary mash of this round. No, it was mishmash, mash. I'll make a new word. Why not? We're Aussies. We can do that. We're allowed. That was definitely the most entertaining race of the season for me. It was just, obviously with the rain and all the different conditions and just strategies, and it had it all. It had it all. We had the early crash, the replica of the 2014 Formula 1 crash at the start, and then really good battles. It was really good to see some really nice, hard fought but clean battles throughout the field, and then the ultimate ending with the G and the rain and complete chaos. And it was. I think that's definitely the most complete race I've seen all season, and I'll tell you what, I'm very, very keen for the second half of the season because that was something else. And I've enjoyed every race so far. Hasn't really been many bland races for me yet, and it just keeps getting better and better and better, and I can't see it getting any worse as we go in the second half of the season. So bring it on Austria.
And bring it on indeed. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, as I say. Until then, you guys take care of yourselves and in Jerry Springer style, each other too. See you soon. Bye for now.